Man, I do love that freaking theme. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Arvanauts, to a Friday night stream. It is an exciting day today because we have returned after almost 2 months off just because of the way time and scheduling worked. But we are back today with day 16 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored as always by Alligator Alley Entertainment. It is very exciting to have everyone with us. I hope you folks are looking forward to this as much as I am. And before we go any further, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Discord is !ArvCord. Twitter is !ArvTweets. And our Blue Sky account is !ArvSky. Website, of course, for all of this is arvaneleron.com. Financially, !ArvTrayon is the Patreon, which is really the financial backbone of the channel. And the subathon, but I'll talk about the subs in a minute. Subbing to the channel, which is also good, really helps the channel as well. You can get those custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch, and both by subbing to the channel and also by supporting the Patreon, you can support the players as well, and you can support the various initiatives that we do on this channel. And today, or this month I should say, is September, which means that you can actually, on new subs or tier upgrade subs, so like tier 1 to tier 2 or tier 2 to tier 3, you can actually save money on those subs. Twitch will pick up the difference, and it gets me the same amount of money, but costs you a little bit less. So please consider doing that, because that would be really exciting. I am very pumped up for all of that support. And that reminds me of this subathon. And yes, I did think a little bit about that. I think I had in my mind something about Robotron 2000, the old video game. And then I'm like, yeah, Robotron, Tron, Robothon. And then later on, I'm like, maybe it should be Arvatron. It's Arva something, okay? Basically, that's just internal. You'll notice I have tried not to be overly cute about what I'm calling the subathon outside of us. But while I'm on that subject, it is in fact the subathon, Arvatron or Arvathon 2023, coming up next Friday, folks. It is 1 week away, 1 week from today, actually less than a week, because we're going to be starting on noon Eastern, Friday the 29th. So I am very excited for the subathon. This is going to be our big subs and Patreon event. We have never had a subathon before. We are going to be doing a lot of Starfield. We are going to be doing a lot of Eberron, Oracle of War. We are going to be doing a lot of the Infernal Salon with CSC Cooney and Carlos Hernandez, and a group of talented authors. I already know who they are, and it's going to be a hell of a group. I am super excited for that, and it's all going to get started noon Eastern on Friday the 29th, so you do not want to miss this. It is going to be good times. Very excited for it. So subathon is coming up. Mark your calendars. On the publishing side, exclamation point, I know, right? It's amazing, Triffin. Exclamation point Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation point Library is Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and source book from Alligator Alley Entertainment, which is also the maker of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks and the sponsor of this campaign. Also, exclamation point Greyshade is my Greyshade universe, which supports both the Greyshade novel and the Renegade novel, the sequel to that. Both of those books are available at that link from Athos Arts, and you can also get the audiobook from our very own Trent Sparks of Greyshade, which is available right now. And you can pre-order two things. One, the final book in the series called Heretic, which is the last book of the Grey Assassin trilogy that is coming out next year, and the tabletop role-playing game from Alligator Alley again, and from Brandon O'Brien, which is going to be play-tested next week, literally next week during Big Bad Con. So very excited for that. And if you are going to be at Big Bad Con, please consider, I think the Greyshade playtest is just about sold out, but there is, I think, still a spot or something left. So definitely jump on board if you want to be a part of that Greyshade experience and you're going to be at Big Bad Con. And again, you can do all those orders and pre-orders over at exclamation point Greyshade. Lastly, exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war. President Vladimir Zelensky addressed both the United States Congress and the Canadian Parliament as the Ukrainians continue to fight with bravery and courage. And this is our chance to step forward and help in our own way by standing not only for them, but sending a message that we will do so in the future if such a situation arises again. Quick note on scheduling. I expected that I was going to be today down in New Jersey at the New Jersey Web Fest, where Valorword from Speculate is up for several awards, but I was not able to do it health-wise. I mentioned that I was dealing with this very long-lasting cold, and the sore throat I had is gone now, basically, but I still had this residual cough that led to all these coughing fits, and like I have never had a cold last this long. I tested again. It's not COVID. I've had 3 negative COVID tests. It's not that. But I do think that I just got, there's a long-lasting cold that's been going along, and it really sort of floored me. So I got through my classes yesterday barely without falling into coughing fits, and I really needed the rest as it happened. So both yesterday and all of today, mostly I spent resting, and I'm feeling much, much, much better now. Not all the way back, but mostly better. I really needed the time. So all best wishes to Mike Underwood, who is holding down the fort for the Speculate crew of Brandon and myself and Mike down there. And I hope everyone will cross their fingers for what I hope will be a big, successful event for Valorword on Sunday when the awards are actually given out. It's a great honor to be nominated, but we would love to obviously win. So hopefully we can get that done. Either way, apparently Mike's been having a great time, and I'm excited to hear what happens with that. So right now I am at home with Expedition for the Mysterious Peaks tonight. Tomorrow night we will be here as well. I was going to be here tomorrow anyway in the original plan, so I'll be doing tomorrow night of Eberron, Oracle of War, as we move into part, I believe, 10, if I'm not mistaken, of our 20-part campaign, which is called Judgment of Iron, and that will be the last, by the way, adventure in Season 3 of Oracle of War, so that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. But today, I am very excited that we have got the amazing crew from Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, and so I'm going to unmute myself and apologize unreservedly to anyone I might have interrupted because I can't hear them yet, and then I'm going to unmute them, and last but certainly not least, I'm going to go over to reveal that at least 3/4 of the crew is here with Expedition, and it's good to see them all. I will say that Johnny is going to hopefully be joining us, but is currently dealing with power outages as a result of Hurricane Ophelia in his neck of the woods. So we are hoping that Johnny will be able to join us later on. I'm hoping that the survivalist will have figured out a way to get some kind of battery power out of hurricane winds or something. I'm sure that's a thing that exists that totally I didn't just make up. But in any case, Johnny will be joining us, hopefully playing Titus Littlefoot. But in the meantime, we have everyone else who is not suffering the effects of hurricanes so far as I know. And I'll start, of course, with the amazing Toya Kristen Finley. It's good to see you, Toya. How is everything in the universe with you? How are you feeling about your Titans, and who are you playing in today's session?
Well, the Titans, one guy's going to IR for 4 weeks, but we have not had the absolutely horrific injuries that have plagued other teams so far, which is always horrible.
Yep.
So I'm actually feeling pretty good about them. I think they're better than a lot of people think, which is usually the case with them. It's getting not hot here, which is nice, but
that's nice.
Still lots of allergies and gross stuff in the air. I'm actually doing the whole applying for fellowships thing, and we'll start looking at grants soon. So that's my neck of the woods.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, listen, if you need any recommendations from people that know you well, that may or may not have any connection whatsoever to the fellowship, you know who to ask. Like,
okay, all right.
Happy to provide.
I will. I will come a calling if you put yourself out there.
I will. Right. I will do it. I will do it. Who are you playing today, Toy?
I will be playing Knowles Darkly, who is a human bard.
Sounds like a plan. I have to show you, by the way, Toya. I don't know if you've seen this, but there is a video that has been posted a couple places about a human. About a human bard who makes a perception. Have you seen this, Kat? This perception check. Yeah, it's it's funny. It's about who makes a natural perception check of a 20 and like how everything goes off the rails. It's very funny. I'll have to show you at some point. I think you would dig it on musical level too. Always a pleasure to have Toyas with us, and also a great pleasure to have Kat back with us. It's sort of in between. Kat being amazingly lauded as is well deserved at Dragon Con and place like this, before going off to amazing castles in Europe to run things. Like Kat touches down briefly with us. No, it is a great pleasure to have Kat back with us. Kat, how you doing? I know it's been a lot going on. How has everything been on your front? And I know we talked about this off stream. How is Dragon Con and who are you playing today?
Dragon Con was lovely. I had a great time. Here, there's much more drama because I just moved my mother across the country. So that's fun. So I'm glad to escape to this world in the form of Thob, a lizard folk rogue.
Lizard folk rogue with an affinity for daggers of various kinds. Very excited to have Fall back with us. Good to see you, Kat. And last but certainly not least, Zach. It is our great pleasure to have Zach Clay with the coolest glasses currently that I've got on stream. Something about them, it's just like it's like looking at a roller coaster. I don't know, or it's amazing. But Zach, of course, has been hanging out with us as well on our vocalists and the like. But Zach, how has life and the universe been otherwise with you, and who are you playing tonight?
Life in the universe is great. I've been streaming a lot of this little Minecraft roleplay server that I've been playing on for many, many years at this point. And let's see. Yeah, we were in the green room. We were talking about some great games, some Lucas Pope games. Papers, Please, Return of the Obra Dinn.
Is there another one that's coming out that I've missed?
No. We were talking
because
about
those two games are amazing.
Yeah,
They are amazing.
Yeah,
we were talking about those two. He is working on a third one, I think.
It'll be good.
And then we were talking about Baldur's Gate, and I think it's starting to look like a time. I saw a wonderful tweet that said, because the new update for Cyberpunk just came out today, Cyberpunk 2077, and it's looking really great. And someone gave a tweet that said, looks like Cyberpunk's finally come out of open beta.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of deserve that hit a little bit.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah. But it's, better late than never. It's funny now. I'm just kind of excited to go back in and try it because I did sort of enjoy it when I played it briefly. But yeah, no, lots of great games coming out this year and updates to old games, I guess. We could
there's also Starfield, which
I'm starting that next Friday as part of this subathon.
Exciting.
I'm starting Starfield. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Cool. But yeah, so great games, and this is a great game too. I'm excited for tonight. I am playing Dr. Kilden Jaraxxus. I need to remember. Kilden Jaraxxus. It's been so long. The Cybermancer, Dendis Cybermancer, who is a scientific social media influencer.
Yes.
That is what I am. Okay.
And has had a chance to sort of see those influencer numbers grow. By the way, as a quick note to Toya and Zach, I have now finished Styx, Master of Shadows, which both of these two, one of our, when we canceled one time, they were able to come on and comment on it, and it was good. So again, some of the same things we talked about, both positively and negatively about the game, but it was an interesting experience that was a good one. I'm glad that I played it. So
did he escape the family?
Yes. Well, so as it turned out, I don't know, like I'll spoil this part because you already had seen some of it. I don't remember if we had reached this twist. So it turns out that the goblin that you saw at the beginning is not actually Styx, but is one of his clones that he had made specifically as part of his plan to help him escape. But he had built the clone in such a way that, unlike the others, it wouldn't destroy automatically. So it then becomes his like story going forward is this goblin who's not Styx. And at the end of it, the only survivor is a goblin who only remembers one name, and it's Styx. So the question is, which is it actually Styx? Like, so you don't really know. It was very interesting. It was interesting.
So did all the other goblins sound like mobsters from New York?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
It was the voice acting was an interesting experience. I mean, it was fine. It was just out of character. Anyway,
everybody else is like medieval times, and then you got this guy who's walking around a castle here.
Yes, everything was Gary Oldman except for Joe Pesci. Like it was very strange. Anyway, but it is good to have this crew back with us, and let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session. In our last session, folks, the crew here, collectively of both the Sunrider and of those originally from Camria, who flew down sort of escaping, that is to say, the Primarch and whatever is going on up there, have joined up here, Titus, Nulls, Fob, and Dr. Jaraxxus, and have joined forces with Elu Whisperwind to go to the one place that Elu can think to go where she might be able to get support, and that is with the aid of her parents, who, of course, are in Celis. But to get to Celis, you can't just go there directly because you need to get to a portal and an area that will lead there. And that means that we have to lead to, as I switch over to the map, right down here where all these arrows are pointing, and that, of course, is the Wormwood. And right through the Wormwood, there should be a portal that would allow them to get to Celis. The party only took one of these arrows, and it was this red arrow over here. The longest route, but in a lot of ways the safest one. The party went east over First Span, which sounds like it was a lot easier than it was. To actually do that, they ended up having to deal with a dire wolf called Gamork, which had been somehow modified through some kind of cyber enhancements, Magitech enhancements, and they managed to not tame Gamork, but certainly get Gamork's grudging respect, at least for the moment, currently being ridden by Titus as a kind of mount. Gamork was with them. There was also, as they went across, these assault drones and the constant pressure of these creatures that may be following them, the servants of the Primarch, who seems to have lost his mind, and are now following the party, trying to, stop them from doing whatever it is the party might be doing. And so the party headed east and then south so that they could stay out of the most dangerous areas of the Valley of the Ancients. As they went south, though, along this eastern route, this easternmost route, they had a number of strange encounters, one of which concluded our last session, the encounter with this ghostly child, who apparently was this kind of echo of a child that had lived hundreds, perhaps even thousands of years before, dressed in clothing that was not current, not present day in the least, who was wanting to find out where his parents went. And it was ultimately the decision that Nulls made to send the constantly faithful Uncle Bones, also known as an unseen servant, to help bring the ghostly child down to his parents. What the child ended up discovering, who knows whether the child will discover the parents, because after only a short little distance, the ghost shimmered and then faded away entirely. And so this was just one example of numerous examples of strange things happening in and around the Valley of the Ancients, because the farther south that the party gets, the closer they get to the site of the Cataclysm, this massive magical explosion which fused in some ways magic and technology on this planet and altered the way that those things ultimately function. And so things are getting weird as the party gets closer to that area and closer to the portal that would lead them to Celis. But I want to pick up here right around this spot that I have placed this handy yellow X, which is more or less just about where the party was going to end after the last sort of encounter. You may remember that this was heading towards, I believe, early to mid-afternoon when you had the encounter with the child, the ghost child. And so as you've continued along the southernmost route that you said you wanted to keep going on, a couple of hours have passed without incident as you're now heading basically into the more or less the evening. And at this point, right at this yellow X is where it's going to reach, more or less the evening hours entirely. So one thing the party has to decide is, at this point, the party is going to have to turn west away from the mountains here to head into the section where they go into the little valley that leads down to Wormwood. So you've managed to miss most of the Valley of the Ancients, but there's not much you can do about this. I mean, you're going to have to pass through this sort of southern tip of the Valley of the Ancients. So the question that I have for the party is, where does the party want to stop for the night? Do you want to stop here, like still sort of sitting above the valley, but like right on the edge of it? Or does the party have other ideas? And Elu, I should mention, who's with you, Gamork will do whatever, because Gamork is just generally grumpy, in general. Elu is willing to do either one, although Elu is clearly anxious to continue to make her way towards her parents. But she also knows you can't just continually walk without becoming exhausted, so you're going to have to rest soon. So with that said, let me start the music and ask the party, what would you like to do?
I have a question.
Okay.
So you said that we could we could camp at the edge, near the top of the valley before we start to descend and head west.
Correct.
Right?
That's right. Only danger is that it's pretty exposed up there. Like, that you've got the mountains behind you, not that far. Like, you're just visible to everything. That's the only
We're
problem.
almost on like a cliff
Yeah.
or plateau. Okay.
Yes.
Whereas if we started to head down at least a little bit, there would be, rocky paths and we'd be a little lower. And
That
stuff
is
like
correct. And you could probably, if you took about an hour, it's shallow enough here that you could probably cross down to like there where I'm pinging, and you'd be kind of in the valley-ish, more or less. But you wouldn't be like in the middle. You'd be over here on the
Yeah.
side, and you wouldn't be as exposed.
So the area we're in now, even though it's exposed, it's not getting into the heart of the valley. If
No.
we kept walking, we'd be getting into the heart of the valley where stuff really gets weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's correct. If you got down, you probably still wouldn't be in the heart of the valley, even if you went down this path that we were just talking about and got out of the exposed area. But it needs to be said, Knowles, it's going to, at this point, it's going to get weird regardless. Like, you've already encountered a little bit of that with the ghost situation, so.
Jaraxxus's vote is he suggests heading down at least a little bit for an hour into the valley, maybe not being so exposed.
I like that.
Yeah, for an hour, yeah.
All right,
Okay.
we continue.
Okay. So the party, as you head down, the sky above lightens slightly, only in the sense that the moon is probably going to rise, and you can sort of see some of the almost a kind of shimmering in Gamork's gray fur, as he sort of pads on in his usual imperturbable way, so to speak, down the rocky path. It is there's definitely some loose rock and pebble and stone, so it's not the easiest descent, but it's not one that you need to make any checks ultimately to make. But I would like to make, in particular, have Fob make a check for me, please, a perception check.
Nice.
Okay. So Fob, as you were walking down, you notice at a certain point, probably about halfway down half hour down, let's say, and you've been kind of on this path, which almost feels a little bit like a switchback as it kind of cuts down. As you're going down one of the switchback paths, you notice that there's a rock sort of formation off to the side of the path as you go down. And you notice that there are strange markings in the rock. And they're strange because they're regular. That is to say, they're not naturally occurring. They almost look like notches. And when you get closer, you can see that it looks as if someone or something has made notches in this rock. 5 of them to be exact, with a dagger, almost certainly some kind of a dagger. The rock is, as I said, kind of loose already, so you can see these rough marks, but they're definitely at a regular interval, and they definitely are not naturally occurring.
I will point these out to my companions because I'm sure that the good doctor will want to get the photograph of those.
Sure. These like dagger notches. Yeah, Jaraxxus will go up and will point his recording unit. Oh, and Kat, we're getting a little bit of feedback from you. We'll point his recording unit at them, and can we discern like what their purpose is? Like, are these almost like trail markers or something?
It could be. They might look a little bit like blazing a trail, although you're certainly not familiar with what kind. You just know that they didn't happen on their own.
Would Elu know of any custom or ritual that might have created these?
No, Elu, in fact, when Fob pointed them out, had the same reaction, which is It looks to me like a trail marker of some kind, as if someone was marking that this trail had been used, although I don't know for what or by whom. But I don't recognize anything specific about them. If the notches were circular, would that make them nachos? Well done, Prince Justin. Yes, yes, indeed.
Well,
Don't make Arv laugh.
Yeah, I know. Although I'm feeling much better than it was, but oh man.
I think we should mess with these notches. I think we should, I don't know, either add another one or make them point in the opposite direction. And so I'm going to add 2 more notches.
Okay. Are you doing them sort of like in exactly the same form?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As a
all
good
right.
rogue, I'm being as deceptive as possible.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you were able to add those notches. That doesn't take long to do. It is pretty loose rock, as I mentioned. So probably takes 5 to 10 minutes maybe. And once that is done, you can all proceed if you like. There doesn't seem to be anything else around here other than just the path leading downwards.
Okay.
So about another half hour or so, you've reached the area at the bottom of this place, and you seem to have found an area which is relatively unexposed, or at least much less than it was. You can see that from here, the spot where you are, the ground really sort of more slopes down into the valley. The valley is much shallower on this southern side here, and so you can see that the area where you are, which again is roughly about here-ish, the ground just sort of slopes down quite a decent distance towards the center of the valley. And up above you, you've got those sort of switchback areas. But there's also a pretty sturdy looking overhang. And if you were to hide underneath, or sort of like make camp, I should say, underneath the overhang, there's no way anybody on top would be able to see that you were underneath that. If you had been up there looking over down, you wouldn't have seen anyone underneath this overhang, and there's no one there right now. So it's almost like a little, not a cave, but really a depression in the rock. Although as Elu was looking at it and kind of looking up at the overhang, she sort of looks a little bit troubled, and she says, "Well, I suppose there's not much danger that I can think of, but I wonder if a rock slide or something could block this area." And she's kind of looking around. It's a pretty big area, so it's not like a cave entrance. You don't. It would take a lot of rocks to block all of this. But that's the only concern Elu raises. But otherwise, it's a lot less exposed than where you were.
well, we could set up a watch throughout the night. I think that would be enough.
Before we do that, are we sure there's nothing tracking us or following us?
Can we look and determine if that's true?
Maybe. You're all welcome to. I guess what I would ask, Nels, is how do you want to try to determine that? Like, are you
I think
gonna?
we should ask Gurmak.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Do I have that spell on? Let me see.
Speak with animals. Is
Yeah.
that a 10-minute? I want to say.
Yes, I don't think I've used it in the last session.
Okay, so then I would say no, but you could certainly cast it now, and do that. That would be fine.
Do we want to use that now, or maybe hold on to it, because we're about to get into pretty dangerous territory where we might need to speak with him later?
I'll be right back.
Well, we are about to rest, and you'll regain your ability to do it tomorrow, right?
That's true. That is very true. All right. Let me cast Speak with Animals. Gamork, you want to put your hunting skills to use?
They are always in use.
Is there anybody who's trying to hitch a ride or interested in us when they shouldn't be? Anybody following us? down this trail.
And he kind of sniffs and the air is always foul and uncertain. Here in the valley, it is difficult to tell friend from foe. There are echoes, scents on the wind of creatures, but they may be miles off, and I cannot say if they are friendly or hostile. There is a unfamiliar scent too, but he kind of narrows his eyes. Perhaps like a sort of wolf. But I cannot say. There is nothing close by, at least.
A sort of wolf. Is this another canid? A fox? A dog?
And he kind of wrinkles his nose again. It is not one of my kind. And of course, he is a dire wolf, so he could be referring to a general wolf, maybe, or, something like that. Doesn't seem to think it's a fox. But again, is also a little, it's a little confused down here, I guess might be the way to describe it.
Well, there are things about, and we need to be on guard.
We should definitely set watches.
Mm-hmm. Draxus volunteers to be the first one.
Okay.
I'll take second.
Okay.
Guess I'll take third then.
Okay. I suppose we'll have Titus hanging out with Gamork as the third potential watch, let us say. Okay. So, the first one, I'm sorry, you said the first watch was Draxus, okay. Draxus, I would say the evening, and again, let's say the equivalent of like 9 p.m. more or less, is where we started. So the first couple of hours pass more or less uneventfully. I'd like you to make a perception check for me as we reach the 11 p.m., roughly speaking, hour.
Cool. While I do that too, it occurred to me, as a cybermancer, similar to a warlock, I get these complex patterns, which are like invocations, like special perks.
Yep.
And one of the ones I picked up, oh yeah, there it is called Auto Translate, and it says you could read any writing on a surface that you can see. The translated writing's only visible to you.
Okay.
I don't figure that the trail markers is writing.
Not language, no.
Thought I would test it.
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's a good thought though, but no, it's not language. But regardless, that is a good thing to keep in mind though.
Yeah. Like some Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, exactly. Yes.
And then in purple.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yep. And all of a sudden it connects. Zoop. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, this was not writing language as such.
All right. So sorry, was that a perception check you asked
So
for?
yes, that would be perception, indeed.
All right. 20.
Okay. Draxus, as you were sort of as you're sort of just kind of like, looking around, maybe fiddling with your with your recorder, your vid recorder, and like that type of thing. In the very far distance, it seems you hear the end of maybe the trailing end of a howl, very long away. And over on the one side where Gamork is currently lying with his great head between his paws, sort of in his sleep. It's hard to tell if Gamork ever actually sleeps or if he just, but he's sort of like kind of grumbles slightly as if just kind of, noticing it or whatever. But again, it's very far though, and you just catch the tail end of it.
All right. Yeah, I think Draxus would just take note and keep listening, but otherwise waits for the remainder of his watch.
Okay. About another hour passes without incident, and then you can hand things over to Fob, who I think is the next one to take over. So Fob...
Draxus would tell Bob...
Oh, yeah, okay, I was going to say, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, that he heard There are some wolves in the distance somewhere, but they seem pretty far away. Shouldn't be
Very
too
well. Bob will build up the fire a little and settle back for watch.
Okay. Fob, about an hour in, so we're now talking about maybe 1 a.m., something like that. I would like you to make a perception check for me too, please. Welp. Okay. Also, I'd like to know: does everyone have their? And if you don't, can we double check on the passive perceptions? That we do you have those on your character sheet or available? I don't use passive perceptions that much, but sometimes they do become necessary. So I'm curious.
Where
Mine
would
is-
one find that?
Look where it says senses over on the left side underneath your stats. It's like the second box down. It says up at the top.
Okay.
half.
Yeah, I've got passive wisdom, passive intelligence, and passive. Well, actually, perception, investigation, and insight are my passives.
Okay. So what's the passive perception that you have?
It is perception. It's passive wisdom perception.
Okay, what is that?
says. 16.
16. Okay. Fob, what's yours?
16.
Okay. And Draxus, what's yours?
12.
Okay. Right. All right.
Right.
Okay. So, Fob, so you, as you're just sort of sitting there, I don't know, perhaps cleaning your scales with your dagger, perhaps, or something like that.
Toying with a dagger in some way.
I would
certainly.
assume, yeah, like you're spinning or something. And the fire is there. You catch sort of a kind of a glint beyond the fire, and at first you're kind of like, you think it might be the dagger, like you sort of glinted off that, but then when you sort of catch the dagger again, you see that the glint is actually quite different, and it's several glints. You are not able to shout a warning, but some of you will be able to hear this in time because a flight of arrows flies into the camp. Now, Nalls and Fob and Titus, because Titus is on the back of Gamork, the three of you and Elu, actually, so basically 4 of you are not surprised by this. Draxus, on the other hand, is quite surprised by this result. So what this means is we are going to have a surprise round. We're going to roll initiative. We're going to have a surprise round, which means that everyone will get to act on their initiative except for Draxus. Then the second round, everyone will then pick up from there. But these arrows have flown in. You haven't seen what fired them yet, but they are coming in your direction. And so I'm going to fire up the turn tracker first. I'm going to fire up some combat music, and let's get some combat rolling. So let me have initiative rolls, please.
I hope you see my 21.
I
because
do.
I'm rolling that.
I see that more than Fob saw the arrow. Okay, I'm sorry, I was unfortunate.
It rolled off of 18 to 4.
Oh no! Oh man! Oh Nalls. Well. It could be worse though, Nalls. You could be sleeping soundly as an arrow strikes you directly in the face, like a certain influencer I know. Okay. Titus with a 17, Nalls with a 7, Fob with a 21. I'm gonna, since Titus is not with us yet, I'm going to have because Johnny's not with us. I'm gonna have Titus just go on Gamork's initiative here. Which means. That's very narratively appropriate. Gamork was extremely prepared for this, apparently. So that's very appropriate.
Cool.
Elu, a little less so, but still. Okay, let's see. We have... Hold on. Making sure that we get the bad guys. I'm sure you'll be shocked to hear that the arrows are not themselves independently attacking. So there are, in fact, creatures that fire them.
It's Yondu. Just
oh my god. The best part of Guardians of the Galaxy is so much Yondu.
yeah.
I should have said that when I said you heard something. I should have been like, That's what you should have heard. That's what I should have done. Okay. Right. And last but not least, this guy. Right. Right, okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Bad news, Fob, is that you're not going to be the first one to go. The good news is Gamork is. Gamork was very ready. But we will talk about who else goes where in just a moment as we get there. So, let's move. Okay. Zach, are you willing to potentially have you Jaegered Titus before? I'm trying to remember if you did or not.
Let me look. If so, it's been a while, and I'm sure that the sheet is outdated. But let me look.
Okay.
We could let's see. Titus is a. I might just say like
he's an engineer.
At least for now. Okay, if he's an engineer, then I forget like what like cantrip he gets access to. Like we could just say that until I find it, maybe.
Okay. Yep. I will check on that to see. But I was just curious.
I will too. I have a whole round, so I'll figure that out.
That's true.
Well,
yes.
Actually, no. He's about to go.
He's about to go. Yeah,
okay.
that's one of the reasons I mentioned it. Because of that.
Maybe I don't know. He could like give Gamork advantage or something. For now.
Yeah, sure. Let's say he can aid him depending on what Gamork's going to do. And actually, this first round is not going to matter because he doesn't see anything yet. So. All right, there we go. So first to act is Gamork. So Gamork basically just sort of leaps up, and Titus is sort of kind of grabs onto the side of him, kind of just as he leaps up into a standing position, and then he growls. And now Nulls, this is beyond your 10 minutes thing, so you won't be able to do that. But he says something like. Like clearly some message which you're obviously not going to get, and then he bounds off into the darkness, and Titus on the back of him barely Titus is able to see that Gamork is closing quickly on what looks like a group of creatures. It's confused because it's obviously partly in the darkness, and they are concealed behind certain like rock outcroppings. So basically if this is who fired the arrows, which you presume would be the case, they must have fired from the rocks first. But it also looks like they were getting ready to follow up the arrows with a charge into the camp. Gamork's not going to reach them, but it does mean that Gamork is going to have arrived on the scene to encounter some of them at a certain point. There's definitely more than a few, not an enormous amount, but there may be like possibly 4 or 5 different creatures, and they're definitely not all human. Some of them seem to be on all fours, so to speak. So we'll see the impact of that in a minute. So there's not much for Titus to do because of all that. It's just double moving essentially. So that leads us.
I did just find his sheet with his. It's like it's from the end of last year, but it has some of his spells.
All right, I got to get on him
Should
about
be
like
enough.
yeah, I got to get on him about that. Okay,
yeah, it's all good.
All right, so Fob, you were going to be up next. You were not surprised, though you were not able to give the warning. The arrows missed. We are going to talk about what happens with Jaraxxus because one of them may hit Jaraxxus, but they have missed you. And you just saw Gamork bound off in the darkness.
I have insightful fighting.
Okay.
As a bonus action, you can make an insight check against a creature you can see that isn't incapacitated, contested by the target's deception check. If you succeed, you can use your sneak attack against that target, even if you don't have advantage on the attack roll, but not if you have disadvantage on it for 1 minute or until you use this feature against a different target.
Okay. I like all of that. Right now, though, you can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
No,
Damn
I
it.
mean, other than arrows, but you don't see the creatures. that may change rapidly. You don't know. But from your position, you don't know. You just saw arrows fly out of the darkness towards you.
Then what I'm doing is taking steady aim,
Okay.
which gives myself advantage on the next attack roll, and then I am going to hide.
Okay, sounds good. Are you going to also hold that action? So like if you see a creature, then you like throw a dagger or whatever the case may be. I understand that thing about steady aim, but are you holding your action until something...
No, I'm using that action to hide.
To hide. Okay, fair enough. You can hide as a bonus action, can't you?
But
yeah, but I just used the
also
bonus.
Oh, but you
using-
use... Oh, I saw. Okay, gotcha,
Right.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, sounds like a plan. Well, and speak of the devil, it's some of the bad guys' turn to go. So, the three beings of some kind leap out from behind the rocks and charge. And Titus can see from his position on the back of Gamork that they have bows, short bows that are slung over their backs, and they have 2 daggers at their belts. And they seem to be wearing some kind of like sort of ragged, kind of tattered armor, maybe leather armor. These do not look like Magitech kind of, technologically advanced creatures, but they do look to be sort of rough and ready types that are making their way, humanoid, probably human, and are running towards the camp. Now, Gamork, as Titus is on him, Gamork runs past them because there are 2 other beings behind them that Gamork seems more interested in. But it means that the bandits basically are also running into camp. And so just as they get into the firelight, which means next turn they'll be able to attack, the 3 of you, not Jaraxxus, sorry, Nulls and Fob, you can see now these bandits looking the exact same way I described, and they are charging directly at you. Silently, they're not yelling, anything. They're just like running, and they mean business from what you can tell.
My pleasure.
And there are 3 of those. Now it is Jaraxxus' turn, and Jaraxxus, I have to roll an attack on you because you were unconscious at the time that this happened. So this attack is going to get advantage. Now, normally, because you're prone, a ranged attack would not get advantage, but these ones have apparently, like Fob, steadily aimed to prepare themselves for this attack. This attack... one of them is going to... There were 2 arrows that came your way. One of them, I suspect, is going to have missed horrifically with a... oh, man, too many pages. Okay. With a 5, I would guess. It's not going to get the job done. What about a 22, though?
Yeah, that doubles my AC. So,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I misspoke also. I did not mean to say short bows. Crossbows. Sorry. Important that we get the difference. So, Jaraxxus, you are struck for 8 points of piercing damage. The good news is that wakes you the hell up. You are very much awake with this crossbow bolt in your side. It is doesn't seem to be poisoned or anything like that, but you are instantaneously aware now that there are creatures here. Now, you're still not going to be able to act, but you now waking up see your companions. You actually don't see Fob probably, but you do see Nulls kind of looking around. Gamork is gone, Titus with him at the moment, and there are these 3, creatures with leather armor sort of facing you.
I'll play out what I can do on this turn.
Okay.
That's it.
Amazing. That's the kind of role play that we... okay, good stuff. All right, well, now we get to see the next 2 creatures to go, and now we see a little bit more about what Gamork was interested in. Gamork is heading right towards one of them, which stops to attack him, and is in fact a wolf. There are 2 of them, but these are not dire wolves, and they don't seem to be modified. They're clearly trained, but they're not obviously modified. They're smaller than Gamork is. And one of them stops, one of them runs past, and the other one attacks Gamork directly, and is going to do so with a terrible roll that's not even going to come close to hitting. So is going to miss. The other wolf, though, is going to charge in and basically arrive right where the bandits are. So you now have these like 3 leather-clad, humans and 1 wolf next to them. And that leads us to Nulls. 3 humans, 1 wolf, Gamork and Titus gone, Jaraxxus hit with a crossbow bolt. Everything going just smoothly, Knowles. Right so far.
Okay. How close is the nearest creature to me?
I would say probably from where you are, maybe 40 feet from
40
you.
feet.
Yeah, I would say, because you're sort of back against the wall and the outcropping. They're just on the outside of the firelight, so probably about 40 feet, yeah.
Oh, okay. And who in my party is closest to me?
I guess that would depend on... I think probably Fob would have been between you and Jaraxxus, but Fob is hiding. So probably the closest to you would be Jaraxxus. Elu is already on her feet, but is not gone yet.
Okay, and I've got a question.
Okay.
So, an action in combat, I'm looking at the things you can do. One of them is called improvise.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly does that do?
So if you're doing an improvise action, it basically allows you to, all right, so basically what it is the improvise action is more or less where you decide you're going to do something that might be outside of the standard rule set that might apply to your circumstance. So like, for example, if you use an improvised weapon, it's where you like pick up a stool in a bar fight and throw it at somebody. An improvised action might be like, I grab the iron pot from the fire, try to parkour off the table, and then put it on the head of the spellcaster to keep them from casting. Right?
Yep.
Like that would be kind of an improvised
like in
action.
Skyrim.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would
It's
be an
basically
example of
anything
one.
that doesn't have like a mechanic, a defined, like a sword does this.
Right.
But if you want to do something out of the box,
Just be aware that sometimes if it's outside, and I encourage you doing that, just be aware that sometimes the outside of the box actions are also outside of the efficient use of said item. So like improvised weapons tend not to be as good as actual using the weapons the way they're intended. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, so you said the nearest creatures to me are 40 feet?
40 feet. And it would be one of the
Okay.
humans.
One of the humans. What type of ground are they standing on?
Flat but rocky. So, I mean, slightly sloped, but basically flat but rocky. There is some loose rock in the ground, but not like a lot of it. So it's not like running on gravel. So yeah, and there are some rock formations in the area.
So like, are they at the bottom of like a rock formation? Like, are they standing here and then the rock formation is up here behind them?
Yes, the rock formation is behind them, but a decent distance. And they're not very high, these formations, I should say.
Okay.
They're not like pillars of rock.
And are there like any loose rocks around me?
Sure.
Okay. There are 2 things I'm thinking of doing.
Okay.
The rock formations being far away from them kind of kills one of the ideas, because I was going to try to maybe create a rock slide or something.
Yeah, if you were
I
at a
can't do
different
that.
part of the slope,
Yeah.
but
Since there are rocks around me, I wonder if I could take the rocks and aim them at the humans. If I could throw them with enough force.
yeah, you could try to. That's using an improvised weapon. You can try to
Yeah.
throw a rock at a human, sure.
And also like aim at take them because they've got crossbows, right?
Yes, although they're not wielding them right now. They're on their backs. They have daggers at their belts.
Okay.
Short swords at their belts.
Okay. If I could injure their arms so they can't aim.
You can. I mean, the rocks that you have are like like you can throw, I don't know, like less than fist-sized stones at them for sure. I don't know whether you could get enough force to try to injure their arm.
So you're saying aim for the head.
Well, or or just aim for the body and see what damage you do. Either way, you could try to do that, but it would be what we call a called shot, which is hard to do, and it would be hard to do it in such a way that it would have the. I mean, it's because they can also try to resist it by blocking it with the sword. That's all sort of covered with armor class. So, but you can try to do it. It's just a fairly high degree of difficulty to do it on that level, unless you aim for something more larger, like the body.
Well, if I aim for let me do this, because it's the ground, right?
Yes.
So if I grab some rocks and some dust
Okay.
and aim for the body, but also throw dust at them.
If you get up close, dust is not going to go 40 feet.
Okay. All right. Well,
You
let's
could
just
stand
stay
up and
with the
charge
rock
them and
thing.
throw dust at their eyes. You could certainly do that.
Well, I don't want to get too close to them because they have swords and crossbows.
True.
So, let's just aim for the body. I'm going to aim for the body and then I'm going to hide.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. So we're going to do an improvised weapon here. So what I will say is I'm going to have you make a dexterity. Going to have you make a dexterity attack here. So basically, you're going to be. I don't know that you're proficient, Nulls, in throwing rocks per se. So I don't think I can let you add your proficiency bonus. So what I would say here is you're going to be rolling a d20. You're going to add your dexterity score. I'm not going to give you disadvantage or anything, but you're just doing d20 plus whatever your dex bonus is, and then that will be your attack roll against their AC. And
Okay.
also, yes, Prince Justin, if a Goliath, I could totally see that for sure.
You can do that. Do you see the six big abilities at the top of your sheet?
Yes.
Strength, dexterity. So just
Yes.
the +2 of dexterity
All right.
is what he means.
12. Let's see if that hits. Okay, so a rock goes flying out towards the closest human, the one that was in that range. Yes, that does actually
Yay.
hit. Just. So that
Nice.
slams into their side. I'm gonna say that since that's a rock, we're gonna say that's 1d4 plus your dex. So we'll say 1d4 plus 2, I think is what we said your dex bonus is.
Nice.
So, do I need to roll the
Yeah, you-
d4 now?
The d4,
Right.
and then we're gonna add 2 to
The-
that for your damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's the die roller in the bottom left thing.
Okay.
Did it actually roll?
Did you
I
click
clicked on it, but I don't.
anything? If you click on it and then you click
Yeah.
the D4 and it says 1.
I also see dex plus 3 here. Is the on
Yeah,
that roll?
I was confused by that too because on Nalik's character sheet it's +2, so I don't know how
That is important, actually. We need to know that. Is your dex bonus +2 or +3, Knowles?
It is +2.
Well, then that's
Yeah,
a
I
miss
don't
then,
know.
because
Yeah.
there's no proficiency for this. So
Let me test by rolling as you.
before I have you roll all your damage and stuff.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, well, I don't have the extension that links it or shows it in Roll20, but it only added 2 for me. That's really weird.
That's strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says 1d20 plus 3.
yeah, but it wouldn't be
Hmm.
because it's just a straight dex. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Knowles. That means that's a miss then, barely. If it's an 11 is what it should technically be. 9 plus 2. So that just misses, and there's kind of a like they just narrowly miss, and then one of them, kind of a scruffy bearded human, kind of growls at you fiercely. At which point you hide. I assume.
Yeah, that's
Knowles is-
fine. I'm getting out of there anyway.
Okay.
Use your energy to do whatever you want. I'm gone.
All right. So we're going to have you jump behind one of those rock formations for the moment. Okay. Now we see the final creature in this crew. And Titus is the one to see this first. And this is maybe a step up in class, perhaps, based on the other ones, because you hear this, "Ha!" I can't do it. I'm going to destroy my voice. "Ha!" Just imagine that I was doing something really impressive and ragged, okay? And charging out of the rock formation with this massive axe, which has a slight shimmering of blue at its edge, is this massive human with knotted muscles. And she runs directly towards the camp with this basically great axe, more or less, in both hands, and runs all the way up until she gets to the group, and then keeps on going, and is going to head towards. Fortunately for Dr. Jaraxxus, because Fob is hiding, Nulls might have been able to hide. We could see about that. Would have headed for Jaraxxus were it not for the fact that you have somebody standing already who's also got a weapon, and that's Elu. So I'd invite you all to think about that incredible moment in Fellowship of the Ring, which I may or may not have just taught recently in my Lord of the Rings class, where the orcs are coming in the film, where the orcs are coming at Merry and Pippin, and here's Boromir running up the slope with the sword, and literally they're about to bring an axe down until Boromir blocks it. That's more or less exactly what happens. This berserk, roaring madly human brings her axe down, and Elu, sting, with this clang, tries to block it. The equivalent, though, what that means is that the berserker basically is de facto attacking Elu. So we're going to see whether or not the berserker hits. The berserker does not. That's narratively awesome with what I just said. And Elu manages to block it and is now standing facing this human. Now Elu is so, I mean, like probably 5'10", like not, enormously tall, but not tiny. But this one, probably 6'5", if you had to guess. This is a big person. And you can also see, all of you now, that along her back, she has a wolf skin just sort of draped over her back. And there is also leather armor and stuff like that. But this definitely is someone who's kind of you almost get the sense that the other leather armed humans are kind of giving her a wide berth. Okay, so Elu is the last one to go in the round, makes her attack and sadly misses, and that's going to bring us back up to the top with Gamork and Titus. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is, rather than sort of Jaegering exactly, I will have the dire wolf act sort of as they would act, and then Zach, you can decide how Titus wants to do things. Gamork is basically engaged with this wolf, so what Gamork would do is attack the wolf. Given that, what would you want Titus to do with that?
Can we get an overview one more time of, now that they've all sort of revealed themselves, all the number of combatants that we have and
sure.
Who they are?
So you have got 3 leather armored humans right at the camp where you all are, the camp and the campfire, and 1 wolf and 1 massive berserk creature, human with them. The remaining remaining wolf, is fighting Gamork outside of the camp still. So basically it's a grand total of 3 humans, 2 wolves, and a berserker, basically.
Wow. All right. Okay. Titus, I think. Oh gosh, I can see all sorts of spells and things here.
Yeah, if you want Titus to go separately, Gamork can make his attack. I just didn't know if you wanted to assist or do anything with Gamork specifically, or you wanted to save it.
No, yeah, I think Titus, if it's possible, I think Titus would leave Gamork and the wolf to fight each other, and Titus would help us.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay, sure. You can dismount. Gamork seems more interested in this wolf anyway. Okay.
I have no one seems too injured, including myself, yet to require any healing. So I see Titus has an ability called Electrical Surge, and I imagine that does damage. So I'm gonna find that real quick.
Okay.
And we'll see what it does.
And so Titus is going now. Is Titus going after? You said you want Gamork to fight the wolf, the wolf that's out there. Is Titus then like dismounting and running back to the camp? I mean, they're not far, but like back to the camp. Okay.
Would that basically take his whole turn then?
Not if it's ranged. You could probably get within range of it, but melee, yes, it would.
Take a look here. It's taking forever. There we go. All right, so I'm at E for electric.
Slide.
E for electric. Okay, electric surge. You launch a spike. Oh yeah, 60 feet. You launch a spike of surging electricity toward a target.
Okay.
Make a ranged forging attack. On a hit, it is a D8 lightning, and they lose their cover until the start of their next turn. That's interesting.
Okay, well, so what you got right now is 3 humans in front of you, facing away towards the camp. 3 humans, a wolf, and a big wolf skin wearing berserk person.
All right. I think I think Titus would shoot the wolf, maybe.
Okay.
Because wolves can knock people prone. They're very big.
True facts.
Okay, range forging attack is that seems accurate. So +5 to this. All right, here we go. That's an 18.
That will hit.
All right. That's one lightning damage.
Ow! Static electricity. Hair slightly goes up.
Thanks,
Okay.
Titus. Okay, that's it. That's all I was gonna do.
Good stuff out of Titus. The good news is that Gamork chewed a nice little bite out of the wolf that he was fighting, and has hurt the wolf a decent amount. Okay, so much for Titus on that score. Still, well thought though.
Thanks.
And Titus obviously had to move to get there, so that's it for
Right.
Titus. So that's going to lead us to Fob, who is up next. So again, Fob, 3 leathered armored humans, berserk person, and the not injured, well, I guess slightly singed now wolf that's at the camp.
In my position in relationship to the large berserker,
You're pretty close. Elu is engaged with the berserker right now. I would say maybe 25 feet.
I would like to stab the berserker in the back.
Okay. So do you want to leap out then, basically? Like throw at the back, or is the-
Actually, I'm going to shoot.
Okay.
I is what I'm going to do. Shoot them in the back.
Sounds good. There is one problem with the back part though, because the berserker was coming at the camp, right? And Elu blocked the berserker, so the berserker's facing you, Fob. They don't see you because you're hidden, but they're
Then I'm gonna
facing
shoot
you. So
them
you
in
need to
the
like
face.
flank around. Is that okay? That's fine. You're going to shoot him in the
Cat's
front.
like, then I'm gonna shoot them in the face.
Okay, that's totally fine.
All right.
Sign me up for the face shot.
Yeah, that's great.
There's a 9 hit.
A 9 is not going to hit, I'm afraid.
Do
Sorry.
I have advantage because I'm hidden?
Oh,
Yes, actually, and the berserk is engaged with Elu also. Don't you have that insightful thing you were just talking
Yes.
about?
So
There you go.
19 will sure hit.
19.
Yeah,
That will.
absolutely.
great,
Does 9 points of damage.
nice.
Okay, and I think
And-
if that's sneak attack damage, right? So
Yeah,
12,
It-
I think.
that's
I
what it
believe.
looks like. Yeah,
Nice.
I think.
Yeah, that's a
Great.
like, so the berserker kind of like turns, just like screams angrily at you.
Mhm.
I'm going to hide again.
Okay. So you sneak back behind your rock formation. Okay. Now the leather armored humans are going to get a chance to move. So, and let me see. I've got it. I think. Are you able to hide as a bonus action that just works, Fob? Because the reason is because otherwise you having revealed yourself momentarily to attack. they
It
may
is a
come after you.
bonus
It
action.
is a bonus action to hide. Okay. We'll see whether their perception allows them to see you. In the meantime, they have a target-rich environment. So they are going to look at the ones that they can see. So 2 of them, Nulls, are going to head towards you. Now, you are attempting to hide, but it appears that they are more or less have a sense of where you might be. So 2 of them are going to head in your direction. The other one is going to head towards you, Jaraxxus. And they are clearly giving a wide berth to the aforementioned berserker. So let's going to see if they can see. Maybe. Let me see what their score is. Okay. So yes, so they come running up at you, Nulls, but apparently your hiding did something, because as they come up, they sort of swing, I would say it's fair to say, wildly at your general direction. One of them hits the rocks above your head with a 4, and the other one with an 11, but I'm thinking an 11 doesn't hit you either, right? That does not hit your AC, Nulls?
This
My
Nulls or
AC?
Fob?
Nulls, not Fob. Nulls, because Nulls tried to hide at the end of Nulls' turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not Fob.
What's my AC?
Your armor class should be up there.
It's in a
Yeah,
big
it's
shield
13.
icon.
13.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So neither one of those is going to hit. So that's good. The one that's on you, Jaraxxus, as you're sort of, I don't know, standing up out of your bedroll or something. Oh, geez, what awful rolls. I don't think a 5 is going to hit you either, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, not good round for the leather-clad armored humans. All right. Well, Jaraxxus, it's your turn, and you happen to have a leather armored human in front of you.
Huh. Yeah, so now we're all kind of mixed in with each other, right?
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. I'll try it. This may not be the best idea, but I hope it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay. So I haven't had a chance to do this yet because we haven't fought humanoids
Ah.
in a while.
Okay.
Last fight we fought a whole bunch of drones all over the place. So Jaraxxus will. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, like narratively, what he does. I guess Jaraxxus, he stands up after being the surprise round, and he has his scientific coat on and his little rigs.
Yes.
And bits and baubles and stuff, and he flicks on the light attached to his recording unit, and next to that too, almost like the flashlight, and then a little red blinking recording light pops on.
Okay.
And he says, all right, hopefully this works. And we're here with negotiations between these two wonderful parties. Yes, we're negotiating, right? And as he says this, his voice bellows out, and I will use the Esper spell or Esper talent, Pacify. So here's what it says.
Okay.
It says, you attempt to suppress strong emotions in a group of people, each humanoid in a 20-foot radius sphere, so 40-foot entire area. Centered on a point I choose within 60 feet, so, pretty much all of us.
Okay.
Must make a charisma save. A creature can choose to fail if it wants, but if it fails, I choose one of the following effects. The first effect is to end charmed or frightened. That doesn't have any effect right now. The other is I can make targets indifferent about creatures of my choice that it is hostile towards. The indifference ends if the target's attacked or harmed, or if it witnesses any of its friends being harmed. When the effect ends, the creature becomes hostile again. So essentially, if this works on all of us, we all stop fighting, because we become indifferent towards creatures we're hostile toward.
I see. So you know that this is affecting your own folks theoretically too.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, all of us need to make a charisma save. More than likely, it's going to just be scattered, and some people will stop fighting for like a second, and then they'll.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. Let's see how the leather armored humans do.
So yeah, and then I guess so for even maybe not Fob, because Fob's shot and is hiding, so might be further away. I don't know. That's up to Greg, but Nalik and myself. And probably not Titus, because Titus is still trying to approach us, right?
Right. I don't think it would affect Titus or Gamork.
Okay.
But it might affect Elu actually.
Right.
Okay. So what's DC? Am I looking
So
right?
this
Yeah.
is a charisma saving throw. The difficulty's 13.
Okay.
And I guess I have to succeed against myself or not. Let's see.
And you said just human, right? Or humanoid,
Only-
does not affect.
Only humanoid.
Okay.
Yeah, not the wolves or wolf. Okay, so I fail against myself.
Okay. Interesting. I'm sorry. What did you say the DC was again?
It's a DC 13 charisma.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see how. Okay. Got it. All right. How did Nulls and Fob? I guess I'll give you the option on this. You tell me if you are do you imagine yourself as having hidden fairly close to your companions, or the ones in the camp, or back a distance? What do you think?
I think I'm probably fairly close.
Okay,
So I
so
would make the saving throw.
okay, let me have you make the charisma saving throw. And Null, same for you. You should be able to find the saving throws on your sheet,
Yep.
I believe.
It's in a box in the top left. Now,
So I saw
yeah,
charisma
Lily-
plus 3, but we want the save, which is a different for that
Right.
one, Nulls. Fob with the 21. Okay, Fob, you're still like
Well,
pissed at
where's the
these people.
save one?
it's the first box in the top left below those 6 abilities. It says saving throws. Yep, and do charisma
Okay. Okay. All right.
or chaw, as it's labeled.
Chaw.
Well, that's better.
That is
Yeah.
better.
Great.
Okay,
Just
so
barely, but
Cool.
it's better.
Jiraxis, are you definitely subject to your own thing? I guess you're like, because I don't know.
There might be a specific rule about being subjected to your own stuff, but it says each humanoid.
Okay.
So, and I think it makes sense if I'm the one that's like, we're negotiating, right? So,
Okay. Sounds good. So, basically all of your companions are not affected by this, including Elu, except for
Great.
you. Now, the other ones, you may not be able to tell until like their turn, because it's just happening, like what they're going to do. So you will find out what the effect of this was, basically. Having pacified
Okay.
yourself in the meantime, I don't know, what exactly would you do with these undoubtedly friendly people that you see in front of you, with big smiles on their faces, not grimaces of anger, you know?
I see. Yeah, so which if they get attacked or harmed, it immediately ends. So we'll see how it's whatever. Jiraxis will say, "We were just resting here in our camp when suddenly we were attacked. It's a lovely little ambush you got there, but I'd much rather hear why you're attacking us. Please tell me." And I will hold out my recording unit towards him like a microphone.
I love that you're doing this with like a crossbow bolt out of your neck, like just sort of like as this is happening.
Yeah, I'm sweating blue sweat on my. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good. We will see what the reaction of all that is. Okay, and then you're not moving anywhere, I assume, right, Jiraxis? As you
Nope.
do your interview.
That's my turn.
Okay. So that's going to lead us to the wolves. The one that is attacking Gamork is going to miss terribly. The one that is here, let's see, is probably going to. I'm trying to remember what the wolf did. I think probably the wolf is going to run towards Jiraxis here, because again, trying to avoid the berserk creature. So, so as your interview is happening, this wolf comes running up, but then the wolf also, I think, is going to miss you, because we are looking at a. Well, they have advantage in attack roll against creature if one of the wolves is within 5 feet of the creature ally is incapacitated. No, I don't think I can honestly say that the ally is incapacitated. So that's technically an advantage. We'll see. An 11 would have missed you, but they are attacking at advantage.
No, an 11 would have hit.
Oh, 11 would have hit? Oh.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because the other roll I had was an 8, so that would have been worse. All right, well, an 11 is going to hit. So all of a sudden you just see out of frame as like as he struck. All right.
Would you like? Whoa.
Let's see. So you're going to get hit for... that's going to be 5 piercing damage, Jiraxis.
Okay.
But I also need you to make a strength saving throw for me, please, or be knocked prone.
I know how this works.
I'd like you to imagine, chat, the sound on the mic for this, like, as he falls. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Yeah, that's not going to do it. Jiraxis is prone and borne to the ground. Jiraxis also, I had you with 8 temp before. Was that true coming into this or not?
I was thinking not, even though it's an ability I can do at will. So as long as we're not in combat, it makes sense that I would have it.
But not when you're
But-
asleep, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It only lasts an hour, and it would wane off.
That's
after
what I
sleep,
figured. So we're looking at 8 out of 21 for your hit points here, I think is what
Right.
we're dealing with. Right, okay. Okay,
Yep.
Right, that was the wolves. Okay, Nulls, it's your turn. Jiraxis is on the ground with a wolf on top of him.
And I will be right back.
how close to me are there are two, right? There are two
That's
that,
right. There are two that attacked you. They like missed
Yeah.
one high, one low. So yeah, you got your own problems. They're right on top of you as we speak. I mean,
so
not lying on top of you, but you know. What I mean.
I noticed. Well, when Jaraxxus cast that spell, does everybody else realize what's happening? If they made the charisma save?
That's a good question. My guess is yes. They will know what the attempt for
Okay.
the spell was. That's what happens when a charm fails. So I'm guessing that
Okay.
that's the case here.
So, the first thing that Nalls is going to want to do is to see if it worked on the two that are attacking her.
Okay.
So I mean, are they trying to attack me still? Are they hostile?
So, so far, one of them has not. They're kind of looking at you and sort of shrugging. The other
Okay.
one is definitely still does not seem to be shrugging. So if you had to
Well-
guess,
well-
it worked on one of them.
So the non-shrugger is how far away from me?
About the same distance. They're both about like within 5 feet of you, roughly.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, they're
what
right
Nalls
next
is
to you
going
now.
to do is bring down a little bit of thunderclap
Mm-hmm.
on non-shrugger.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So I am going to attack the hostile one with thunderclap.
Okay.
All right. So I just go ahead and roll that.
Yes. So, so you're doing thunderclap, which is this burst of thunderous sound. Let's make sure that's the same spell that we're talking about. This is the one that. Now, keep in mind, each creature within range, other than you, and that's so 5 feet, has to succeed on a con saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage. That's the one we're looking at, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And they are within range, so that's perfect. Everyone will be able to hear it, but they will take damage there. So they have to make a Constitution saving throw. This is now, just be aware, that means that in all likelihood, because it's within range, so it's 5 feet, so they're both going to hear this. So in other words, you can't just target it at the non-shrugger. The shrugger is going to hear it too, because they're like right there, and they're in the same radius.
So so wait a minute. If I hit both of them, then it'll make the non-hostile one hostile again. That's
Yes,
right?
but if
Oh.
if the non-hostile one sees you attacking the hostile one, they will already become hostile again. Because
Yeah.
one of the functions of the spell is if it sees their friends being hit, so it doesn't matter. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Well,
Just go for it.
Okay, I'll probably go through it anyway, but I want to kind of talk through
Sure.
what my other options are. Do I have the ability to hide?
yes. Now, for you, since you're not a rogue, if you're going to hide, you would make a stealth check, basically. And that stealth check, and that would use up your standard action, your regular action to do it, because again, you're not a rogue, to try to hide. If it succeeds, you'll get some benefits from it, but I'm going to warn you now, it's going to be very hard for you to do this, because it's also a partially opposed roll, and there's two people staring right at you. So
Okay.
it's going to be hard for you to be like, woo, you know, like,
Well, I'll just hit both of them with thunderclap then, and then
I mean, that's a
take-
good call anyway, yeah.
and then retreat. I'll hit them with thunderclap and then retreat.
Okay, that sounds good. Probably disengage, right? Because if you run...
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yep, totally. Okay, so they got to both make con saves. Let's see how they do. Do you have the DC for... What's the difficulty check for me? For
12.
you? 12, okay. That is not enough. Okay, so one of them definitely failed it. And... and the shrugger failed even worse.
Okay.
Okay, so it hits both of them. So now you
Alright.
can roll, I think it's 1d6, right?
Well, yeah, it's a little thingy on here. 2.
2. All right. All right. Does 2 points damage. Does it say that they're stunned or something after that?
Let me find it. It's not.
I think not. I think it's just the damage. Regardless, I mean,
Where's the spell definitions?
You should just be able to click the word thunderclap and it'll pop
Okay.
up. Yeah.
All right. The spell's damage increases by 1d6 when you reach. Oh, never mind. Con is 12. Each creature within range other than you must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage.
And
But
that's
what,
it.
like, what is thunder damage?
No,
though?
that just is a particular type of damage that some
Okay.
creatures may be resistant to or more vulnerable to, but they're not in either way. That's just damage. Okay, so they each take 2 damage. So
Okay.
both hurt. One of them that is pacified, I have made a note, is no longer pacified. Clearly hostile again. And all of you hear this, this enormous sound of thunder.
Thunder.
Yes. If only it was thunder, thunder, thunder. Okay, but it is not. But has hit both of them. All right. Still good stuff. And you can then disengage. So you're just basically stepping back, right? 5 feet, I think you said you want to do. So you can totally do that.
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. That is going to bring us to the Berserker. So the Berserker actually lowers her axe and kind of puts it down with like the handle up and the head axe down and is sort of smiling, which is
Yeah.
great because Elu is like, ha, and then swings wildly right at the Berserker.
Good. I
Is
can
going to
be
get
happy.
advantage on this attack because the Berserker is literally not even trying to
Awesome.
defend. And Elu hits the hell out of the Berserker in this case. So the Berserker, so the good news is the Berserker is definitely hit. The bad news is, boy, is the Berserker really pissed now. And so the pacified creatures are no longer pacified here. But it did slow them down for a round, so it could have been
Good.
worse, Jiraxis. Not bad.
Good.
Okay, top of the round. Gamork still trying to deal with his wolf on this side. Oh my gosh. Gamork. So you hear in the distance, Titus hears probably this horrible tearing sound as a certain wolf's throat may have been ripped out, and it wasn't Gamork. And then, who knows what Gamork does from there? We'll find out because Titus is not riding him at the moment. Now that leads us to Titus. So now you've got in front of you 2 thunderclapped. I mean, they're not like disabled, but they've been hurt. 1 regular human in leather armor. 1 wolf, which has been hurt a little bit, and then 1 berserker who is pissed off and has been hurt somewhat.
Okay. I'll be fine. And by I mean Jiraxis. Titus is gonna yeah. He has an ability called Laser Blast. What's that do? Let's take a look.
It pew-pews things.
It pew-pews things. Laser Blast. Oh, it's essentially guiding bolts. That's cool. Yeah. Let's
Some
would
bad
like
weather today, huh?
I would like Titus to guiding bolt or laser blast the wolf that's on top of Jiraxis.
Okay. That sounds like a
I
plan.
may or may not have a personal preference in this situation, but
Listen, that's fine. I think it's reasonable. That also sounds like Titus would try to help the person who's under
Okay.
most duress anyway. So
Right.
yeah, go ahead, make a ranged attack, which is what I believe it is.
Right. Okay. 23.
Yeah, it's a big old hit.
Yeah. All right. 15 points of damage.
Oh,
Wow, for a guiding bolt?
Guiding bolt, first level spell or / technique. On the hit, a target takes 4d6 radiant. In addition,
46 radiant.
yeah. In addition, the next attack roll made against it has advantage.
That's right. Well, that won't be necessary since he obliterates
Yeah.
the wolf off. So Jiraxis goes down and there's roar, and then just a shower of fur and like just obliterates.
chunks of
just-
meat.
Oh my goodness.
Great.
Thank you for the sub, Drew. I appreciate it. What's up, man? Thank you so much. Yeah, that is 1 dead wolf. Good stuff
Cool.
out of Titus. My goodness. And then Titus, is Titus moving anywhere or not? Thanks, Drew.
Is Titus like within 30 feet of most people?
Yes,
right now?
just on the other side of them, but yes.
I'd probably kind of stay over on his side and not enter the mess.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sounds good. That's going to lead us to Fob. Well, fewer people now to deal with.
How far away is the barbarian from me?
I would say the barbarian is probably about 30 to 35 feet. Maybe about 30. It's like close, between 30 and 35.
I'm going to, I would ideally, I would like to shoot her and then move and bite her. but I don't know if that is possible or not. The bite is a bonus action.
You want to? Oh, okay. So you want? I'm sorry. One second. Sorry, just saying goodnight to my kids. Okay. So yes, you'd like to shoot. Let me think. I don't think you can shoot and bite on the same turn. Unless
the bite is a bonus action.
You know
It's
what? Then
hungry
yes. So you're
jaws.
basically shooting, moving, and biting, but you will not be able to hide after that, though, Fob.
That's
Just be
fine.
aware. Okay.
That's fine.
No, I love it. Then yeah, let's
Okay.
make that happen, please.
All right.
I want Fob to bite a berserker. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm presuming an 18 hit.
Nice.
You better
with
believe
the
it.
bow
Yep.
For 6 points of damage.
Wow. Check
Well,
that
yeah.
out.
Plus the
Sneak attack.
too.
And then I'm going to come in with the Hungry Jaws.
Ah!
And is a 15.
Wow.
15 will hit. Yes.
That is 10 points.
Wow.
Good gravy.
And do you regain health from that? I
I
forget.
do, but I'm not down any hit
Yeah.
points.
Not damaged
so-
anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh wait, no, it's temporary HP. It stacks on top.
Oh,
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
right,
it says
you're right.
it deals normal damage and you gain +2 temporary.
So
Well,
you have
that's-
so you have 2 temp. Nice.
I'm adding
That's
two
so
now.
cool.
Wow.
I'm-
So this just this rogue, this lizard folk rogue, just yeah, very nice. Well, the berserker is incredibly angry at everybody, but also now has a lizard folk to contend with. All right, well that was impressive. The 3 leather armored humans that are perhaps starting to feel a bit nervous. 2 of them are going to close on you again, Knowles. They're going to close the gap because you're only 5 feet away. And they're both going to attempt to attack you. One of them with their short sword, that is a 15 to hit your AC. Is that, I forget what you said your AC was.
This is against who? Me?
Again, against Knowles.
Oh.
So, Knowles, what's your AC?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
13.
13. Okay, so 15. So that is going to be a hit. The first attack, the attack of the first one. They are going to do only 2 points of damage, though, Knowles. Just a glancing blow to you. Okay, and then the second attack from the other one is going to be a 15, same as the other one, so that's also going to hit. That one is only going to do a grand total of 3 points of damage. So they both hit, but not too much damage. Okay, and then the last one, which is on, excuse me, on Jaraxxus, is going to attempt to attack you, Jaraxxus, with a 13.
Yep. And I'm prone on the ground too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. That is a good point. Yeah, well, the other one would have been a 15. So, okay, that they are going to do 7 points of damage. You were getting hit like a truck when you get hit. So that leaves our friendly cybermancer director with 1 hit point. Okay, Jaraxxus, you are in a bit of trouble. It is your turn, and you're on the ground.
Jeez.
You don't have a wolf on you though. That's good news.
Yeah. So does this this berserker seems like their leader?
Well, I mean, definitely a step above the rest of them in terms of combat. They definitely are just I mean, the berserker doesn't seem to be ordering the others around, but they're definitely avoiding her.
Okay.
And Knowles, you're on deck after Jaraxxus' turn.
Okay. I will. Okay. Can I stand up just using my movement, or does that require?
Yes,
okay.
you can
so I
stand
stand up.
Yep.
And then, I got 2 options. One would save my skin. Yeah, I think that's what he would do. He looks at the berserker and he debates, like trying to command the berserker to do something, but he's at about to fall unconscious. So instinctively presses a switch on his visor, and 3 other Dr. Duraxuses appear around him. And he says, "Good, please don't hit me." All 3 of them just say the same thing. So
Nice.
this is Clone Pack, which is mirror image. So if anything makes an attack roll, they have to get through the mirror images first.
Yep.
And that's my action, and that's my turn. Are there any am I in melee with anything?
Yeah. I mean, the one who's on top, the one who's right next to you.
Right,
Basically.
okay.
Yep.
All right, never mind then.
Yeah.
That's my turn.
All right. That's going to lead us to Nulls. Okay, Nulls. So you've got those. You got the 3 leather armored humans and the 1 berserker, and Jiraxis looking to be in pretty bad shape.
And I still got the 2 who are coming after me.
You still got the 2 on you, yeah, that you just hit with the thunderclap.
So is it possible to take a bonus action first? Because
Yes, sure.
I've got the the Tales from Beyond, like rolling because of the college that Nulls belongs to, and the Bardic Inspiration. I was wondering if I could roll that first.
Yep, you could do a bonus action first.
Okay, I'm trying to find where to actually roll it though, because it's supposed to tell me which.
Oh,
Yeah, which story?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that there's
it'd be built into
that
a sheet or like
Right.
yeah.
You might just need to manually roll a
D6.
D6. Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing too, though, is I mean, it's good that you're using it now, but
Yeah.
let's see.
So it's a 3.
So it's a
Oh.
3. Okay, so what is that? What tail is that?
Actually,
me
yeah,
find-
no, I think
okay.
you can
Tell-
use it this turn.
Tale of the Beloved Friends. The target and another
Oh.
creature of its choice it can see within 5 feet of it gains temporary hit points equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Charisma modifier.
Okay,
Pretty
I could see that could have some serious value for one of your party in particular.
Okay, so it's Fob who's closest to me, correct?
I would actually think that Jiraxis right now is
Okay.
a little closer to you.
So I'm
Hey,
so I'm
Diginferno.
using that for me and for Jiraxis. So
Okay, yeah,
I'm going to target the target and another creature of its choice.
sure,
Wow.
So it's going to be me and Jiraxis.
sure.
Cool.
Within 5 feet of it gains temporary hit points equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die. So I guess that's 3.
Well, no, because you rolled that to see what your tail was. So go ahead
Okay.
and roll
Yeah.
that Bardic Inspiration again, and let's see how many temp they get.
Okay.
Exactly.
Plus my Charisma modifier.
Which is probably
And my
pretty high.
hold on, just let me close this.
I mean, this is Nulls. It's got to be in like off the charts. I would imagine.
I can't see that. So it's 3,
3 again. Okay.
and my Charisma's 4. Is that like the
plus-
saving throw?
No, it's just the ability. One of the 6 at the top.
Oh, actually it's 2, because it's 15.
Huh. Oh, okay. I thought it would be even higher than that. All right. Still though, that's 5. So that means that Jiraxis and you both gain 5 temp, if I understand that correctly.
I will take it.
Yeah,
Heck
that's
Okay.
good stuff.
So let's see. How close are these 2 to me again?
Right. I mean, 5 feet.
All right, let's clap them again.
Okay.
Because, like I
Well-
said, it's bad weather.
hmm The using the tail is an action though. So like
it was
you
a
use
bonus
the,
action. It was a
you
bonus
use the
action.
bonus action to determine the tail, and then it says you can use an action to choose one creature
Oh.
you see within 30 feet of you
So yeah.
to be the target.
Was
Yeah.
still really important though, Nulls. Like that was a very clutch tail use, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can move, and again, they're within 5 feet of you, so you could try to bet. Now, the backing up 5 feet, I mean, you're kind of getting close to the wall, the
Right.
outcropping wall, but you could back away 5 feet. They could step up to you next turn.
Right,
but-
they're going to step up to me again.
Yeah.
They're going to, they're going to step up to me again.
Yeah.
Yes, I will back away and I will get a weather forecast ready.
That sounds like a plan. Okay, it is the Berserker's turn, who is exceedingly pissed off at Elu, who just struck her in the face. And so the Berserker is going to, I'm going to, for the benefit of Chad and the players, reveal something which that the Berserker is going to do, and that is that the Berserker is going to become reckless. That means that they get advantage on all melee attacks during their turn, but they have advantage against them for melee attacks till the end of their turn because they are acting recklessly, because she is really pissed off at Elu. And she's going to hit Elu with that reckless attack. And with this massive blow, this massive blow practically like lifts Elu off the ground with the strength of this blow, and Elu kind of like, throws back this big slashing wound, across Elu's chest. And Elu is like, like that clearly hit Elu a lot, and Elu kind of grits her teeth. And on her turn is going to attack right back, and she will get advantage for the reason I already expressed. And is going to hit with one of those, and is going to do... Okay, Berserker is starting to look pretty hurt, by the way, through various attacks that have been made. All right, that brings us to the top of the round again, and now you'll be happy to know that a certain companion of yours has arrived on the scene, charging in and landing on the one remaining bandit that was not attacking. Actually, let me think about that. Who are they going to attack first? Are they going to go after the Berserker? Yeah, that's the big target. They're probably going to go after the Berserker. So, is going to attack the Berserker. So Gamork, with this great leap, this great gray shape, leaps out of the shadows, and is going to get advantage since, again, reckless. And that is a big old hit. Okay. Not that much damage. But let's see if the Berserker goes prone or not. All right, the Berserker does not go prone. But now the wolf has entered the battle, and the Berserker has taken a lot of damage now. Okay, that brings us to Titus. Fob, you're on deck. Titus, what would Titus like to do?
Oh, gosh. Titus, I think... Yeah, Jaraxxus is still at 6 health, but has the mirror pack. So I think Titus will just do another electrical surge. Just try to get some damage going on here. So it's ranged, and we'll do it against one of the 3 bandit looking.
Okay. Do you want one of the 2, the one on Jaraxxus or one of the 2 on Nulls?
One of the 2 on Nulls.
Okay, and they're both equally hurt, so.
All right, great. Natural 20.
Wow. All right. What's max damage? Is that 46 again?
Huh?
No. Okay, that was the
This
other
is
one.
it.
All right, I was
This
like,
is
wait a
it.
minute. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not using all his spell slots. This is
good God. All right.
the prime talent electrical surge.
Right.
So max damage on its base damage die would be 8 because it's a D8 normally.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then
that's
is it just max
very
damage, or
hurt.
do I...
It is very hurt now what you just did to that one.
When you crit, do you just do max damage, or do you also add another die, or is it? I forget.
You wouldn't add another die. It would just be max damage. But if it's like something plus a modifier, then you could add you'd add the modifier as well.
Got
but
it. Okay, yeah, so it's 8.
Okay, yeah, that hurt it a lot. Is Titus going to stay where he is?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, that's going to lead us to Fob. I could have had the Berserker attack Fob as well, but yeah, the Berserker's also worried. It's got 2 problems. But Fob, that means that you were next to this very hurt Berserker.
Well, I think I should hit them. Is what I should do.
I think that makes sense. She is definitely upset.
I presume a 24 hit.
Wow. Fob just not joking around. Yes, that will hit.
10 points again.
Now, yeah, this is not sneak attack, I don't believe, but
Why is it showing up as sneak attack?
I don't know. I mean, well, so tell me about the insightful thing again. You said that the insightful is against. It would give you advantage. Tell me the insightful fighting again.
looking it up. It's like as a bonus action, you can make an insight check against a creature. You can succeed by the target's deception check. If you succeed, you can use your sneak attack against that target, even if you don't have advantage on the attack roll.
Okay.
But not if you have disadvantage on it for 1 minute or until you use this feature against a different target.
Until you use this feature against different targets. So what I'll say about this is, if you want to do this, I would allow you to, because I should have asked you about it before, I would allow you to make an insight check now. If you succeed, then you can use your sneak attack damage that you just did, which would be 20 damage. Otherwise, we're just looking at 10. So I'll let you make that insight check if you want to do that.
Rolling an 8 on the insight check, which I do not think makes it.
Well, so here's the thing. The thing about a berserker, not super deceptive, and especially not when they roll a 5. So you actually do successfully deceive it, which means you do 20 damage, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me, Fob, what does it look like when you take down a berserker?
You see Fob just leaps out. He goes straight across their neck, and they kind of flop back and fall to their knees.
And then just like hits the ground. Hey, Rising Tides, what's up? That is a very dead berserker. And Elu kind of looks down at you, Fob, and then gives this sort of nod of respect. Very impressive, Fob. Okay. It is dead. You could move at this point now since that has fallen. Where do you want to go?
There's still 2 on Knolls or 1 on Knolls?
2 on Knolls, 1 on Jaraxxus.
Well, then I'm going on the 2 on Knolls is where I'm moving to.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. That leads to them. While you are moving to them, the 2 on Knolls are going to attack. The 1 is going to miss horrifically. Oh my God, these rolls. One thing that has helped the party has been, I know, you're all really broken up about it. When they hit you, they've hit for a lot, but they have not hit very much. I think a 4 and a 7 is not going to get that done on Knolls. So, as a friend of mine used to say in basketball, when someone missed a free throw, he'd be like, because he didn't deserve it. That's why they didn't hit you, because they didn't deserve it. Okay, now the 1 on you, Jaraxxus. Unfortunately, apparently they did deserve it, or so they think. That is going to be a 19.
Well.
Wait, that's right. No, because of mirror image.
And let me look at the mechanics of that, because I think it means you have to make one more roll. There's still a chance you could hit me. One moment.
Hey, Dragon Spear. Mostly dead or a little alive, yeah.
So it says each time. Oh, okay. So technically you had to have done this. So it says each time a creature targets you with an attack, roll. Oh, I roll a d20. Roll a d20 to determine whether the attack instead targets my duplicate. All right.
Okay.
And I need to roll a 6 or higher. Great.
No. No. Oh, no. Why?
Okay.
Well.
Oh, gosh.
So
I really don't want to fall unconscious. Can
you do something awesome? I don't know. Can you?
No, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Okay. So that hits. It is going to do 5 points of damage. So there's your temp gone. Oh, I can't believe that.
Thank you, Knolls.
They really did deserve it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Apparently they did, Rising Tides. That's what I'm saying. Oh, my God. All right. Well, sorry, Jaraxxus. The good news is you get to go now. That's the good news.
Okay.
And Knolls is on deck.
So, Jaraxxus is going to do the following. I'm looking at this ability here. Okay. So here's what I'm going to... God, there are so many spells that start with P. Okay. Oh. All right. So there's one right next to me still. There's still... All 3 of the bandit guys are still up?
Yes, although one is very hurt.
Okay. The one that's very hurt is one in front of Knolls, I'm guessing? Or is it the one in front of me?
One of the ones on Knolls is the one that's very hurt. That's right.
Okay.
The one in front of you is fresh as a daisy at the moment.
Right. So Jaraxxus is going to is going to attempt to call their bluff. He'll draw his combat knife, and in doing so, his 3 duplicates draw a combat knife.
Yes, I love it.
And he'll say, "Look around you." Now I'll point to the dead berserker with bleeding out.
Yes.
I'll point to the 2 wolves eviscerated. I'll point to Gamork and then all of us, and I say, "Surrender now, and there is a chance you can still walk away from this."
Okay.
And that I'm using my action to just try to persuade them.
That
fully.
sounds like
I'm
an
not-
intimidate to me.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to intimidate, which means you're going to roll a d20. You're not going to have advantage in intimidate.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have proficiency in intimidation. So we're just going to say, excuse me, a d20 plus your charisma bonus here.
Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Please roll well. Please. Oh, good.
All right, let's see if they are affected. Well, it's an opposed roll. Let's see.
Well, I'm going to use... I have to do this. If I want to do it, I have to do it before you tell me the outcome.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to use my Cybermancer subclass thing, which says perfectly balanced. And it says when myself or a creature within 30 feet makes a roll, a d20 roll, I may use my reaction to have the d20 roll be treated as if it had rolled a 10. So I'm going to do that on myself. So instead I got a 12 instead of a 6.
Okay. And you were targeting this on the one that was in front of you, right?
That ability changes my roll to a 10, but my intimidation to try to get them to back off is against all 3 of them. I'm just like,
okay,
all 3 of you, look at what's around you, stop, But otherwise, using no ability, I'm just saying,
Okay, so this is what happens. The one that is sort of like the one that's really badly hurt sort of falters and kind of takes a halting step back. The other 2 are like not impressed.
Okay.
And so yeah.
All right. Then that being my action, that's my turn. I still have the knife out, and
Okay.
yeah, that's my turn.
All right, that's going to lead us to Nulls. Nulls, what would you like to do? So, the really badly hurt one on you is the one that was like, kind of took a faltering step back. The other one is not doing that and is still dealing with you. So, technically, you have one that you're directly engaged with at the moment.
Okay, and they're both within 5 feet,
Yes,
and Fob is not.
and Fob is not. That's right. Although Fob is going
Okay.
to get there in a minute, but not right now.
Well, Fob ain't gonna be here for the stormy weather.
Okay.
I can cast 2 spells, correct?
It depends on the action that they are. If it says that it takes an action to cast a given spell, then no. But there are occasionally situations where one acts as a bonus action.
So I think Healing Word is a bonus action.
Let's find out. I don't
Okay.
actually remember.
That's what I'm looking at it. Casting time, 1 bonus action.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to cast Thunderclap, because like I said, it's stormy weather. And then I'm going to heal Jaraxxus, because he's within 60 feet.
Yep. Okay.
Okay?
All right. Which one are you doing first?
Are
you doing Thunderclap first?
Thunderclap
Okay.
first.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right. So there's Thunderclap.
All right. And they need to make that Constitution
And I have
saving
that
throw.
extra 5 from my Bardic Inspiration.
That you used it though, right? Like it doesn't say that you can continue to use it.
You mean your temporary hit points?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have the temporary hit points. That's right.
Right.
So, okay. So let's see. Con save. No, they are. Neither one of them is going to make that. So, and you did 4 points of damage. Well,
Yes.
so the faltering person was like, and just like is nailed by this thing. So much for surrendering. The other one is now starting to look pretty hurt as well. So that hit both of them. Now you can turn around, and one of them is now dead. And you can turn around and now deal with healing Jaraxxus with the
All right,
power
so
of healing
here-
word.
Here comes
Here
hopefully
comes
7.
Great. What's your healing word?
So let's see.
Oh, I gotta give you a healing word.
Oh yeah, an actual word.
Sir, you came from the sky. I don't know you, but I showed you like you. Get up on your feet and fight.
I think there's actually healing bars, healing speed bar.
Yeah.
But all right. Okay,
Awesome.
7 points.
Thank you
Nice
so
work.
much.
So that brings you up to 8. Hail and hearty, Jaraxxus. Totally fine.
Mhm.
Okay, Nulls, you still could move somewhere if you wish. You've still got one that's near you, so you still can't run away or whatever.
Right. The wall is behind me. Right.
Yes.
So I'd like to do something. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but I can also see Fob coming.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I can dodge, right? Or disengage.
You could
Sorry.
disengage. Yes.
Yes, I'm going to disengage.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right. So now you are literally back against the wall at this point, but you have disengaged. Okay. That's going to lead us to Elu. Elu is going to go towards the because Fob is heading the other direction. Elu is going towards the one that's on Jaraxxus and is going to engage the one on Jaraxxus. And is going to hit the one on Jaraxxus. I'm sure Jaraxxus will be happy to hear. And is going to do, decent amount of damage. All right, so both of the armored creatures are now pretty hurt. Now, let's see, Gamork is also going to close in on the one that's, Nulls, you're back against the wall thing. So you again see this sort of gray streak as tries to hit, as Gamork is going to try to take down that other one. That might not actually do it, though. Nope, misses, but lands, right next to you. And then I want to set the scene. Nulls is right against the thing with the wall at her back. And here's the wolf, which sort of slides next to you and then turns, growling, hackles up, and the great wolf, growling at the armored human who looks exceedingly nervous, I think it's fair to say. And that's going to lead us to Titus. 2 creatures standing, 2 enemies standing still, Titus.
Right. My brain has some whiplash from being like, oh, right, I need to pay attention
Yes, sorry.
to Titus' name. Okay. I think, and I'm more than open to if my other companions think this would be against character, but maybe Titus would support the effort of, rather than mercilessly murdering these random people, trying to get at least one to back off. So would it be okay if Titus also attempts a, here's an idea. Titus has an ability called Stabilize that's used when a player drops to 0 hit points. Now, I know that usually NPCs just die when they go to 0, but could Titus, I don't know, and I guess I could use the guidance of Kat and Toya here. If Titus would go so far as to maybe, if he knows that he can stabilize the Berserker, for example, maybe Titus could be like, if you all stop, then I'll heal one of your friends, or something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Trying to negotiate still.
Who is which one is Titus talking to?
Presumably the only 2 bandits left, both of them.
So the Berserker seems to be the leader.
Maybe.
Ish.
So maybe directing towards her to stop. And then the rest of them might stand down.
No, the Berserker is already dead.
The Berserkers, that's right. The Berserker got super burned.
I also want to point out that whether or not they're going to believe it, since literally is bleeding out after Fob basically slit the throat of,
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty epic.
So in that case, maybe Titus will say,
It's just a flesh
that he'll attempt to stabilize the one who just got knocked back by the thunderclap that just went down.
Right, because there's one that's on Jaraxxus that's pretty not hurt, right?
No, now that's not true because Elu
Okay.
is now on it. So now both of them are about middling hurt.
So there are 2 that are pretty injured
Yeah.
left.
Yes.
Okay.
So-
So I guess it doesn't
okay.
really matter whom Titus addresses.
Okay. Would it be realistic to assume that Titus could use this stabilize ability on that thunderclap guy, or
Maybe.
does the rule? Okay.
Maybe. Unclear, but you could at least try to convince them of that. That would be. This sounds more like a persuasion than an intimidate.
Yeah. Certainly.
But it's going to be an attempt to convince them. So it is, and it's not going to
Okay.
be easy because you're in the middle of a fight. So it's not
But
going to.
it's
It's
in
going to be
the-
a high
hopefully-
DC. But
Yeah. Hopefully in their favor though, because it's
Yep,
not.
mhm.
Doesn't look like it'll end well for them. Okay.
it's true.
And I don't have any other way to bonus. Oh, he has something called amplify ability. Oh, I think that's guidance. Let me look real quick. That might be perfect for the situation.
Okay.
Here we go. Amplify ability. A creature can roll 1d4 and add it to an ability check. Yeah. So I'll do that as part of that
Okay.
action, if that's okay.
Okay.
So persuasion. for Titus.
Actually, question: is amplify ability bonus, or is that standard?
No, it's a standard action.
I have to roll against it then because persuasion is a standard. He's taking the standard action to try to persuade them. So I can't.
good.
Sorry, I can't allow both.
All right, here we go. 11?
Yeah, they don't seem to be convinced.
They'd rather
it,
die? Okay.
It may possibly be that they don't believe that there's going to be an attempt to stabilize based on the
Oh.
dead bodies of things on the ground. Also, it's possible that Gamork might have slightly given them the sense that there's a lot of torn out throats around here.
All right.
So it was a good theory on
otherwise-
Titus's part.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's it. That's it for Titus.
Okay, Fob, at this point you would have arrived. So you've got two of them, both about equally hurt. And you've arrived now. Knowles is literally back against the wall, and you've got two that are between you and Knowles.
And I am hitting the closest one
Okay?
with my sword.
The only one that's still alive. Because there's only one, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
There's
two.
Oh, that's right, actually, because one of them was
Yeah.
on Diraxis. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So, yeah,
Does a 15 hit?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's still doing let me roll it differently. Not sure why it's doing.
What? What do you mean?
It's still rolling as though it were a sneak
A sneak
attack.
attack. Yeah, this is...
I mean, oh, there's no one.
Well,
You're not
I
getting-
guess the other one is engaged, though. So,
Engaged in a lot of pain.
yeah, well...
You have to have a friend next to it to do it. I mean, you could just either way. You could just take the 9 if there is no secret attack.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm just gonna let you know it's not gonna matter here. 9 is going to be enough regardless.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
but it could be so much cooler.
that. Yes, I mean, like, the secret of the power. That's true. Normally I would go with that, but
There you go.
okay. Yeah, so this, so you just sort of stab, and the other one, sort of, lands on the ground, Fob, meaning that you have only one left. You're now facing Knowles directly. Do you, you could move not the full distance, but you could move towards the one that's on Diraxis if you wish, or just kind of stay where you are.
Wait, but there's still one here on Knowles, and then there's one on Jiraxis?
Yeah, no, there were two total left. One of them was on Knowles, one of them was on Jiraxis. I misspoke. I
then
thought there
I'll
were two
go
on Knowles.
towards
So
the remaining one then.
on Jiraxis, okay.
15.
Okay,
I go.
and that last one, this will be the last one, which is looking a very bad spot, is going to desperately attack Jiraxis. Okay, now Jiraxis, you still have got your mirror image up, right? So.
Right. Which that barely does mean the mirror image gets hit. instead.
Okay. That's good because the attack was a crit. So I'm very pleased that it hit your mirror image, which means that one
So
disappears.
am
That one disappears. All right, Jiraxis,
Mhm.
you got one left in front of you that just missed you because hit the mirror image.
I.
And you still have your 5 hit points, don't you?
No,
Yeah.
No, the 5
they
temp
saved
was
my
taken
life,
off
they're gone.
immediately.
Oh.
But you have the 8.
The healing you,
the healing word,
the healing you just did was great. Yeah, I mean, Jiraxis has got a whole bunch of other, several other of his friends would very much prefer to slit this guy's throat, and so Jaraxxus is gonna once again attempt to appease them. This time, more persuasion. Jaraxxus will say, "Look, we've gotten off on the wrong foot, obviously. We can still work this out. I can keep my friends at bay, but only if you drop your weapon. This is your last chance."
Okay.
And
I will give you that I will give you that persuasion check. This is going to be done at disadvantage. You've wiped out
Okay.
the entire party. So
All right. Any inspirations from chat?
that's true,
Wink,
chat.
wink,
You
nudge,
could
nudge.
throw an inspiration the direction of Dr. Jaraxxus for this. Anyone who might have it. Actually, let's see who does inspiration dash. Who would be this group. So Dragon Spear is here. Drew is here. Nonstop was here before. Shadowed was sitting around. There's a few folks in here who have inspirations. So, is there an inspiration coming Dr. Jaraxxus' way from chat? He asked,
I
wonderingly.
Think so.
Drew has inspired
thank
Dr.
you,
Jaraxxus.
Drew. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay.
All right, so it's just an even Steven then.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Just a regular.
Okay.
So just a regular roll.
Okay. Come on, dice gods. 12.
Okay, 12.
I'm trying to save your life, man.
Yeah. So the kind of the kind of the leather armored human stares at you and kind of glares. And this one you can see has silver gray kind of wispy hair. There was in there, and they kind of look at you and sort of stare, and then it's not worth it anyway. And then tosses down their sword. And that is going to bring combat to an end. Now, having done that, having made that happen, there's sort of a moment's pause, and Gamork pads over and looks up, like growls intensely. And the armored human is sort of looking at the wolf and looking at all of you.
Jaraxxus and hopefully Titus immediately step towards Gamork and say, I'm not sure if Nalik would still have her speak with
I
animals
don't.
up.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jaraxxus and Titus would turn to Gamork and try to appease the wolf.
How?
I think Jaraxxus would pull out one of the twisted pieces of jerky that he got from the bridge troll Span.
Okay.
And Jaraxxus would offer it to Gamork. And Titus, I think, even though he can't speak to the wolf, I think would kneel in front of the wolf between Gamork and this man.
And as they're doing that, Nalik yells, "Back away from the wolf slowly."
And so there is a moment where, as you watch, the bandit takes a step back warily, and Gamork, who has not broken the gaze of the man, pads forward one step. And this happens a couple of steps with just this little sort of dance. And then Gamork kind of leans very close. And then turns around and moves past, and then growls something at you, Knowles, and walks back over to the fire and does the classic turn around in place and then lies down. And Elu sort of, there's that moment in Fellowship of the Ring film where Aragorn, where Boromir has got the ring and, gives back the ring to Frodo when it lands in the snow. And then Boromir's like, oh, I care not, and kind of like gives back the ring. And there's that moment where the camera cuts to Aragorn's hand just releasing off the sword. That's exactly what this is. Elu just sort of releases her sword handle slowly and then kind of nods, and she says, all right, I suppose that's all of that excitement for the moment. So now you've got some bodies in this camp, but everything else is silence, and you have this one living remaining bandit.
Well, as the remaining bandit has thought better of the situation, Nalls is going to loot the 2 corpses in front of her.
Yeah.
And does either of them have a cool sword that's worth anything?
They both have short swords. I don't know whether you'd call them cool or not. These people do not look like they've been, if they are sort of your typical bandits, they're not doing well off of the pickings here. These swords have seen better days. They're kind of a mess. They're functional, but they're not anything that are better than the weapons you would probably have.
Okay, well, the crossbow...
There is a crossbow, yeah, it's a regular light crossbow.
Definitely taking the crossbow. Do they have anything else on them?
They do. In fact, when you loot all of the bodies, including, the Berserker and so on, you find a total of 40 gold pieces combined among all of them, basically, in a couple of pouches. But probably more important than that is each of the bandits, not the Berserker and obviously not the wolves, has a note on them. And it's a note that has this set of unfamiliar looking sigils and symbols on them. Now, Jaraxxus, I know you said something before about something that you have that allows you to read languages like this, but if not, you obviously have you also have a bandit right there. But all 3 of the bandits have this same identical note.
And since there are 40 gold pieces, I just think we should split that 4 ways, so everybody gets 10 gold off of this.
Seems fine. But yeah, you have these sigil notes, if anyone wants to do anything with those.
We each get 10 gold, you said?
Yeah, I would like to do something with them.
Okay. You can make an investigation check for me, or you can, I don't know, think of something else I haven't considered in terms of trying to translate it or decipher it.
Would Arcana work in this case?
Probably not. You don't think this is magical?
Okay. So you said an investigation check?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that 21.
Wow.
Well,
Nice.
Yeah, you begin to see some patterns to it, and also talking to the surviving bandit, you get a little bit of a clue also. Roughly speaking, this note seems to be a set of orders to basically attack travelers and loot the bodies, more or less. Like attack travelers and get anything of value they carry. But probably more interesting than that is the note is signed by someone whose name appears to be Gruwick, Gruwick, and has what you think, Nalls, are rudimentary directions to their camp, to where the rest of these creatures are, these bandits.
can you spell that name again for me?
Sure. Gruwick is Gruwick.
Okay. And
Elu, and in case you're wondering, Elu has never heard of a Gruwick. Neither has Gamork or any of those.
So you said these are rudimentary instructions?
Correct. They do it based on landmarks, more or less, rather than here's an actual map or whatever.
So that was the notches we saw earlier.
Maybe. But apparently there's more than just a few bandits here.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course I pass along all that information.
And so
Interesting.
Elu kind of sighs and she says, more delays. Well, we could track them down, but it's going to waste time, or we could just keep going. My parents are waiting. We have bigger issues to deal with than these creatures.
Well, if it's seems the right time, I think Jaraxxus would approach this other bandit and say, do you have this note my friend translated? It says you're supposed to raid travelers. You don't happen to prey upon Wormwood regularly, do you?
We don't go down that far. It's dangerous down there. And besides, you don't want to run into the one that runs it. She'll have your blood, she will.
Are you... I'll point to Gamork, and I'll say, do you know anything about a creature like this? Not the wolf part, the other parts.
No. We've seen some things flying overhead once in a while, but nothing that looks like that. We trained wolves ourselves, not whatever that filthy thing is. And Gamork, although, allegedly asleep, kind of growls with eyes closed.
Well, I'll turn to my friends. Elo's right. As much as I would like to stop these people from doing this, we have more important work.
Agreed.
Well, I'll turn back to the man. We gave you an opportunity here. How about... what should we do with him? I turn to my friends. We could see what use he could provide us. I don't think it would be very fair to just let him go on his way.
Well,
Maybe-
especially if he goes and warns his friends about us.
Right. Maybe we take
I won't
him
be
all the
doing
way.
that. You realize I'm good as dead anyway. If you let me go, I'm going to be heading up and trying to find my own way. At least that way, I have the chance of making it out of here. If I go back
Yeah.
without any of them, I'm dead anyway.
Well,
Mhm.
then, and of course my friends would have to agree with this, if you're as good as dead alone, you do know these parts pretty well, and we need to get through the valley. So, you could travel with us for a while.
And he kind of, with him, and he kind of stares at Gamork.
Oh, he fought us too, and now you see he's on our side.
Your
have a habit
side,
of this.
maybe, not mine.
If you're part of our pack, you're part of his.
He kind of narrows his eyes.
Yeah, you could help us understand these marks. You know anything about those?
It's the number of people that were expected to be passing by. They count notches per people. If you found a group of them, it means someone already knew you were coming, and they marked how many were to be taken out.
You have scouts around this valley?
Gruig does.
Right. Well, yes, I think you're going to travel with us. And then, before we get to Wormwood, if you've been a good boy, assuming, I don't mean to... what's your name? Tell us about yourself.
And he kind of sort of hesitates, and then Canner. Canner's the name. That's Canner, in case you're curious.
Mm. Yeah, if you've been good, then, like you said, we'll let you go on your way and you can start a new life. Maybe, I don't know, take up basket weaving. Something like that.
He kind of tilts his head. And then he... All right. Just keep that thing away from me. Again, looks back at Gamork.
Mm-hmm.
It's in all of our interests that we survive.
And he
What
kind
the-
of nods slowly. Yeah, go ahead, Draxus.
What? Well, we'll have more questions when we wake. I think we'll continue our watches and interrogate you as we travel tomorrow.
And he nods and sort of settles himself with his arms crossed, sort of staring at the fire. And I think as the camera pans back, we have a moment where all of the companions there are around the fire, along with Elu, and occasionally, as the bandit looks over at the great dire wolf, there's a moment where, undoubtedly in sleep, the corners of the mouth twitch just a bit, just to show enough of a fang. And that is where we will bring our session to a close.
I've got a really quick question.
Sure,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Was that a light crossbow or a hand crossbow?
It was a light crossbow, not a
Okay.
hand crossbow. Yes, good
Thank
call.
you.
Good stuff, everybody. That combat was a little complicated because of the surprise and the level in which it took place, but you managed to ward it off. And again, they weren't rolling great to hit, but man, when they hit a lot. But some serious stuff, especially Fob, who was just wrecking face with every attack. Fob was on point. But a lot of good moves from everybody. Very clutch heal from Knowles in there. And Titus with a couple of big shots, played ably by Zach in this situation. Jaraxxus with some important moments, including a fairly clutch persuasion, because I think that was Jaraxxus who did that, not Titus, right? I think it wasn't Titus that did that last one. I think it was Jaraxxus that did it
This
and
final
succeeded.
one.
Yeah. So that was important also. So everybody had a role to play, and now you have your guide to the last stage of getting to
Canner.
getting to Wormwood, your boy Canner. I will start with the person on the bottom right of the group of our four square today. Zach, good stuff as always out of Jaraxxus. Jaraxxus really took it on the chin, somewhat literally, was hit with a crossbow bolt, knocked prone, smacked around. There was a lot going on there. But, managed to survive it all somehow and avoid it, even when given temp hit points and immediately had those hit points used up. But managed to get through nonetheless. And as I say, had that sort of important moment of managing to persuade and did pacify the Berserker for long enough to cause Elu to get a really big shot in on the Berserker, so there was that too. How did you feel about the session today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, this was great. I think it was very funny, Jaraxxus trying to stop the whole fight, and then he's like, yes, we're negotiating, and then the wolf just whoa!
He would have been, yeah, exactly. Negotiate this.
But I'm more impressed and I'm interested and in enjoying the dynamic of the other characters very much, like Nalik, and the Bardic Inspirations. Like, I dropped to 1 HP twice in one fight, and only because of Nalik to keep me up there. And I'm Fob, more and more it's occurring, at least to Jaraxxus, like we almost have like half of a beast with us with Fob, where it's like Fob is just hiding, lurching out, short bow attack, then biting the it's crazy.
No joke.
So we're panning out to be a pretty efficient crew. And yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Curious to see what other things we encounter on our way to the city. And that's that. So the fine people will find me here for this, obviously, and our vocalists, where we're having a bang up time voicing Ace Attorney with our new Our Vocalist cast. That's been so much fun. And then on my own channel, where I'm streaming Minecraft roleplay lately, and then I've been streaming Baldur's Gate a little bit here and there, but yeah, that's about it. I can say that I will be appearing on the D&D Beyond podcast in October.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, talking about professional DMing and then also the work that I'm doing here in San Francisco. So look out for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely, I'll advertise it when it's out. And then, of course, chat, if you haven't heard, Greg and I are in an awesome band called The Road, and we just had an album come out, and you should check it out.
True facts.
So, yeah,
True
that's
facts.
me.
And not only, and it's interesting because both D&D and the band will have specific connections in
Yeah.
an event happening early this year that I can't give more details about yet.
Yes.
But mark your calendars, people. Thanks, Zach. Good stuff as always, my friend. Thank you. Kat, yeah, I mean, listen, again, as we know, sometimes we have more combat, sometimes we have less. Today was combat, and oh my goodness. FOB, I think one of the things that's striking about FOB is the fact that FOB is so, in some ways, unpredictable. Like, you could imagine a scenario where FOB is just ping, ping, but in that case, which is why I asked you, when you're like, no, shoot, charge, and then slash, that was a very, very, I mean, like, closing the gap that way with that kind of speed, and having done that attack first really made it harder for the Berserker to be able to manage all the stuff that was going on. So there's a real deadliness to FOB, and I am actually interested to hear if we're going to get even more backstory about what, you know, where this deadliness is coming from, because FOB is usually like, oh, I'm just trying to, live and let live and all
Guy,
that.
you know.
Yeah, but like, man, FOB does not joke around about stuff like this. So that was very interesting to see,
was.
and it was just fun. What did you think about today's session? Where will the folks find you?
I thought it was a huge amount of fun, as always. Where will you find me? You will find me on social media. For people that enjoy the Rambo Academy for Wayward Writers classes, I just put up a whole bunch of new ones, including some really cool classes with Minister Faust.
Oh, nice. Big fan of Minister Faust.
Oh, love it. All right. And so that's that.
Good stuff. Thanks, Kat. Always a pleasure. And last but certainly not least, for those who don't know, Johnny couldn't do this. His power was out today, so Johnny will be joining us next month, come hell or high water. But we will have Johnny back here next month playing Titus. So last but certainly not least of the people who were here, Toya. Toya, again, and great stuff out of Nulls as well. And yes, several clutch inspirations / heals at moments where they were especially needed. You did actually you didn't do a little bit of damage with the rock, but you were able to do 2 thunderclaps, count them, not 1 but 2 thunderclaps, which definitely had an effect and created damage. And the one thing also that you did was occupy 2 characters that are 2, enemies that were attacking you and thus not anybody else. And that did mean, since you were staying alive during all of that process, that you were occupying them and they couldn't attack anyone else, which meant that they had more time to deal with their people. So from a combat point of view, fairly effective, I would say, in terms of how Nulls worked all together. How did you feel about today's largely combat-oriented session? How will people find you on these here internets going forward?
Well, I'm very happy to finally be able to use Thunderclap. I have been wanting to for a while,
Yeah.
but for various reasons I could not. Everybody has mentioned, FOB's prowess. I just want to say Titus is kind of OP as well.
Oh, geez, yeah, Titus, no joke. No joke.
So that was fun and unexpected. I am really excited about having Canner along now, and also getting some lore about the area and his insights about Gruik. I'm also really interested to find out who let them know that we were coming. It could be Gruik, it could be somebody else that we've already met. So I'm interested to delve into that a little bit more deeply. But I had a lot of fun tonight. It looked dire. No pun intended.
I was gonna say, and you had a wolf.
Yeah, it did look dire, but I thought everybody did a really great work in this situation to, survive. And, now we've got a bandit, so it's,
We're just picking up strays everywhere.
we're just
Yeah,
picking
yeah.
up
Who
strays
knows how long
everywhere.
all these strays will last with you? But yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think Canner's going to stay with us for much longer, but still,
Yep. No, I
it
agree.
is to his benefit that he does for the time being.
Mhm.
Also, are we resting now? Are we long resting now? Is that what's happening?
Presumably that would be what you're doing at
Yeah,
this
so
point, I would
we
assume.
all need to click that little thing on our
Yeah.
forms.
I figure we can, if you haven't already done so, we'll make sure to do that at the beginning of next session.
Yeah. So you can find me at schnoodlemedia.com online, and I'm on various social media sites. I lurk a lot. I'm not very active on social media, but that's where you can find me. I'm not doing anything for the rest of the year. So, you know, if you know of anybody who needs diversity consultants or developmental editors, please let them know because I am available. So.
And you should, because Toya is amazing, as I've said many times. Thank you, Toya. Great stuff tonight. And players, it was really nice to get back into this. I am very happy to see how things happen as we progress and head into the rest of the Southern Valley and onto Wormwood there down at the bottom. But thank you very much, chat. Can we get some love for the amazing players of Johnny Pittman, who's not here but will be, but the players here tonight: Toya Kristen Finley, Kat Rambo, and Zach Clay. Players, great job. I will see you folks soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now. All right. And as a reminder, chat, I'm sorry that I did not do this. I should have mentioned this earlier, but this is my bad. But the players, remember, any cheers that people do during these sessions do go directly to the players once we've collected enough together. So if we get cheers through Twitch, then that's stuff that's going to go directly to them. My fault for not mentioning at the beginning of the session. I was just really excited for us to get back and rolling again, so I apologize for that. But if people enjoyed them and have cheers available, I mean cheers via the system, please do send them our way, because during these sessions those cheers will go towards them, and that is always appreciated, and I will sort of pass along whatever we get through them. Also, thank you to Alligator Alley, as always, for sponsoring this campaign. And again, this is going to get just a little bit, this was fairly conventional tonight, but it just gets a little bit even crazier as time goes along. So I am very excited to see how things happen as they proceed further into the southern tip of the Valley of Ancients and then on to Wormwood from there. It is going to be a good time overall, I would say. One hundo for each of the crew. Thank you, Shadowed. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just forgot to bring it up before, and I should have, and I didn't do that, and so yeah. So thank you very much, Shadowed. I appreciate it. I will add that to the list. Let's see. So that's 400. Yep. So I will do that. Thank you very much, Shadowed. And otherwise, chat, that I think is going to do it for us for this evening. But we are going to be back as a reminder tomorrow, because tomorrow evening we have got more Eberron Oracle of War coming your way, which is going to be awesome. We have just passed in that campaign. We have just entered, we're literally entering exactly halfway through the campaign. They are level 10, and they're going to be going into the 10th part of the campaign and the end of season 3 of Oracle of War, which is called Dogs of War. The final the final session of that, or the final, not session, but the final part of that, the final component of that is called Judgment of Iron, and that is going to be what gets underway tomorrow night. So you'll definitely want to be here for that. Yeah, the Twitch Research Power Group stuff can do things too, and it's something which we got a lot of those cheers early on, but not as much in the last few sessions, which is not too surprising. Also, this session, we were a little snake bit with scheduling for this one. So we had the last time we got together was like early to mid-June. So it basically had been almost July, not June. So it had been almost 2 months since our last session, actually, just because of scheduling stuff. So we are going to have 2 sessions, though, coming up in October. So you'll definitely want to be around for that. So otherwise, it is indeed, as Drew says, a whole D&D weekend. What could be better? I am very excited for that. Since I cannot be down in Jersey because I was too sick to make the trip, although, as I say, I'm feeling much better. A little bit of leftover sore throat, a little bit of congestion, and a little bit of cough, but just much better than a few days ago. So I'm just about finally done with this. And I think a lot of it was that I just was not able to get any real rest. And specifically resting my voice. Today, I was able to rest my voice a lot. So that really helped. And I'm going to be able to rest my voice a lot tomorrow before Eberron. So that was all really good. Oh, yeah, I saw that in Discord. Well, good. Let us know what you get, Shadowed. I feel like you should be getting the van that the older brother has in oh crap, what's it's Outward. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's Outward, like it's this with like magical creatures and they're both like they're either like orcs or goblins, and he has this van. I can't remember the name of I've seen the movie, but I can't remember what the name of it is. But it's very good. And it's about two brothers, and one of them, and they're big into like the equivalent of D&D and stuff like that. I can't remember. Anyway, that totally should be what it is, because he's also a big like metalhead and stuff like that. So it also kind of fits. No van. Okay, fair. Well, listen, it's just like small sedan. Fair enough. Fair enough. You should still get flames down the side, though, of the small sedan. But anyway, that is going to do it for us for tonight. But again, we'll be back tomorrow. And then reminder, on Tuesday, I will be over on GogCom's Twitch channel early. I'll be doing it at noon Eastern till 3, and I'll be playing more of Solasta, Palace of Ice. And then at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, I will be over back here, and I will be doing our Shire Adventures game as we do the second and possibly final session of Most Excellent Fireworks, which is part 3 of the Shire Adventures campaign. And then we will be off Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, as you know, is the beginning of our big subathon. Remember, subathon, mark your calendars. Friday, a week from today, Friday at noon Eastern is going to begin. We'll be going at least until 3 Eastern, but every sub or Twitch every Twitch sub or Patreon pledge is going to give a certain number of minutes. I'm not going to go through that again now, but I will do so again next week. And so we will go, excuse me. We're basically going to be doing Starfield all the way through. We will continue to push forward all the way through for most of Friday. So I could go from 12 all the way to 12, depending on how much support we actually get. And then the next day, we'll be doing as well some of that time frame starting at noon Eastern. But a lot of what we'll be doing is also based on during Infernal Salon. You can get your fortune told based on subs and pledges. And during Eberron Oracle of War, there will be some special benefits to the characters, and possibly even a campaign twist or two based upon the benefits and the subs and the Patreon pledges that we get on Saturday. It's the first ever subathon for the channel. I really want it to be a big one. We want to make sure that we build up that Patreon pledge number again and build up the sub numbers even higher. And the more we do, the better it is for everybody. First ever subathon. So I am super excited for that. So I'm looking forward to that. And remember, during that time, the subathon, you'll be able to get 25% off of gift subs for others as well during that time. And if you upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2 subs or tier 2 to tier 3, you will get a discount on that thanks to Twitch. And you'll also be able to get some cool things based on Patreon pledges. So very excited about that. So please mark your calendars for that. If you liked what you saw and heard tonight, please make sure to follow the channel. Please check out our YouTube at !ArvTube, Discord !ArvCord, Twitter !ArvTweets, website arvanelleron.com, financially !ArvShop for the merchandise area, !ArvTrayon is the Patreon subsystem, of course, as we've talked about many times. Again, please do sub as Drew was kind enough to do tonight, but also be aware that we're going to have subathon coming up at the end of the week, and that's going to be a big deal for us. So consider that, and gift subs to others and all that kind of good stuff would be lovely, and you can get good stuff for yourself and for the channel. On the publishing front, Icarus for my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And Greyshade for my Greyshade universe. Greyshade and Renegade, both books already out, award-winning. You can order those now, plus the audiobook from Trent Sparks of Greyshade. You can also pre-order the final book in the series called Heretic in the Grey Assassin trilogy that's coming out next year, and you can get the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade from Brandon O'Brien, The Rising Tides, who was in chat earlier tonight, and that is going to be getting play-tested by Brandon next week, actually, at Big Bad Con, so I'm very excited for that. So please make sure to every extent that you can, please consider pre-ordering and setting up your support for that. And if you're going to be at Big Bad Con, please consider signing up for the Greyshade playtest, which is going on with our good friend, The Rising Tides, because it's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see any of that. So all that under the Greyshade link. Finally, of course, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And !
Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the fine people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message that we will not only support them, but support others in a similar situation in the future. Now, we are going to do a raid today. Let's see who I've actually got. Let me double check on two people here. One second. Hang on just a moment. Okay, that works. I got somebody. So when we do a raid, it's very simple. If you are not a sub, you're going to do this, which is the Arvanauts Have Landed, followed by Twitch Raid. If you are a sub, you're going to do this, which is the Arvanauts Have Landed, followed by a bunch of those Arvanese that you see. Arvany Hype, Arvany Roar, and now that we have a ton more, you can do a bunch of others. Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany Blown. You could do Arvany Fail. You could do Arvany Crit Hit, Arvany Crit Got Good. You could do Arvany Ha, Arvany Yay, Arvany Huh. There's a whole bunch of Arvanese you can do when you were brought over automatically. It's good for the person that we're raiding, and it's good for us. So please consider going over and doing that before heading off to whatever your evening will bring you. Thank you to my wonderful mods. Thank you to Dragonspear, to Drew the Damager, to Prince Justin, to Shadow Mage, to the Rising Tides, to Triffity Mats, all the best mods in the business. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and subscribers, Dragon, Drew, Prince Justin, Shadowed, Rising Tides, Triffid, Nonstop, and Wenchkin. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to my viewers. Thank you to HVidus, Cat Rambo, Diginferno, Feels Good Man, John, Merzink, Mrs. Dunsel, Spofo, and Yadasak. And a special thanks tonight to my wonderful players. Thank you to Alligator Alley for sponsoring us, and thank you to my wonderful players who were here with us tonight. That means Toya Kristen Finley, Cat Rambo, and Zach Clay. Very excited. Thank you for playing, everyone. Thanks, Diginferno. Thank you all, and please stick around for the raid, and I will see you lovely people back here tomorrow, Saturday evening, for more Eberron Oracle of War. Until then, as I always say, everyone be good to each other, and have a good night.